Revenge Plan 5. The maid turned white upon seeing who it was. By this point, after a year of rumor and misinformation, most of the palace maids and servants had taken the news as true and didn't doubt it in the least. Miss Wuxia, we weren't saying anything. Due to how frightened she was, the maids no longer dared to speak and hang their heads. Frosty in the face Wuxia, the arrogant leopard girl snaps at the obvious lie. You bunch are nothing but ignorant fools who hasn't seen the real world yet. Nothing but a human woman. How good can she possibly look? Moreover, that son of hers is only a half-breed. That child can only be a useless weakling at best. Only idiots like you two would treat him as a thing. The face of the two maids were undoubtedly very ugly after hearing that pompous and disgusting statement. Unfortunately, due to their fear of Wuxia's supposed identity and possibility of becoming a consort, they didn't dare to retort her. Hurry up and get back to work. If I find out any of you are lazing around, then I will go tell the king to dispose of you too. Without surprise, the two timid maids did exactly just that. Bowing their head, they quickly retreated to carry out their work, afraid the sassy bitch would really go report them. Meanwhile, at the same time in the back mountain of the palace, a door which has been closed for nearly 2 years has finally been opened again. First Elder. A guard greets the cheeky and jolly-looking elder after coming over to greet the individual. First Elder slightly nods. Did the king return yet? Sadly not. Both the king and queen hasn't returned yet. However, the king did send us a letter and a badge for us to use. The content said as long as we snap the badge in half, then the king will come if we are in need of him. Twitching in his old mouth, the king and queen's been away that long? Alright, I understand then. Don't fret too much on the matter. I'm sure the king and queen will come back soon enough. Anyways, did anything happen to the city while I was in closed-door training? Yes, First Elder, there is. The attacks from the celestial realm are getting fiercer and fiercer with every battle. Fortunately, our forces are able to repel them at every turn. Now the only matter left uncertain is the matter of the king taking in a new consort. Shouldn't we settle on the candidates before the king returns? Choose a consort? The elder appeared dumbfounded on the face. When did the king want a consort, and how come I didn't know about this? Outrageous. First Elder huffs and snaps out at the guard in utter anger. Who told you such nonsense about the king choosing a consort? And why would he go and take another woman when he has such deep affection for the queen? Now it was the guard's turn to be dumbfounded. The king didn't plan to choose a consort? Then what was the point of those ladies being brought into the palace? Idiots, a bunch of idiots. Shaking across his body due the inability to express his emotions. If the king wanted to take a consort, then why would he wait until this day? He promised the queen that he will only have her for this life. And knowing how proud the queen is, do you think she will allow other females to serve her husband? With a shudder, the guard plopped to the ground in the next, and recalled back to all the rumors over the year. As expected, his back was drenched in cold sweat at the thought. It's over. This time it's over. Tell me, who is the bastard who said the king wants a consort? Grabbing the guard by the collar, the elder roars out with a boom. Is that moron trying to get me killed? Revenge Plan 6. His Majesty gave me control of the city before he left. If it becomes known that I allowed such rumors to float around, then wouldn't it be me who failed? I don't know. The guard gulped. But they are saying the girls brought by the king from before is going to be the consorts. I thought. First Elder, I really don't know anything. Almost wanting to smack this idiot before himself, the poor elder was burning fire in those eyes. Go now. Go and investigate who began this rumor. If I hear another person talking about this nonsense, then I want them disposed of. I only hope they can stop yapping their mouth before the king returns. The queen and king went through so much in order to be together. I can't allow something like this to get in between them. If it does, then I'm the one at fault because I didn't do a good job. The guard made a shudder over what he's going to say, knowing it's not what the other side wanted to hear. First Elder, I'm afraid it's already too late. Glaring in the eye. What do you mean by that? It's around a year ago. The king's brother-in-law came and demanded to see His Majesty. He had inadvertently learned of the rumors and was very angry. saying he won't let the queen stay with the king. Poor first elder, he could already feel his soul flying away into the sky and leaving his mortal body. The queen's younger brother already found out? In that case then. Oh no 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 no. Send our messengers out this instant. Go find Her Highness's younger brother. No matter what, we must clarify the misconception before the king returns. If we don't, then you and I and everyone else will have to offer up our heads, do you hear? Yes, elder. The guard complied and practically bolted it out of the back mountain, rubbing his own temple in frustration and suffering from a headache. These demons are so unreliable. Why can't they keep a simple thing like a rumor down? The king always has to handle everything by himself. Inside the supposed harem of the palace, Mu Shui was continuing her pompous behavior of conducting the other maids around, when a rude and harsh voice broke in from the rear. What are you doing? Dazed in the face, the leopard girl had to take a good moment to realize the holler was in fact directed at herself. Me. Of course I am teaching these maids on how to do their job, after seeing how lazy they are. The guard's face darkened. If they're lazy, then what are you? Now Mu Shui didn't even know how to respond to that. In this girl's view, she's the future consort of the king. So how dare this puny guard tell her what to do? You don't know who I am? Asking while pointing to her own nose in shock. The guard coldly snorts. You are nothing but a maid brought in to serve the little princess. What makes you think you are any different from all the rest here, that you can order the others around? Now get moving and work. You, flushing red from anger, Mu Shui couldn't take this. I am the future consort. Consort? Snickering derisively in the face. The guard didn't want to waste time, and threw down the truth. I have already confirmed it with First Elder just now when I went to meet him. The rumors about the king taking in a consort is only just that, a rumor. In this palace, there is only one queen. That cold hard truth instantly causes the girl to go pale. What did you say? Revenge Plan 7. First Elder also opened his mouth. If there are rumors going around again using the consort title, then the punishment will be torture. In a stumble, Mu Shui nearly fell to the ground as she staggered backwards. It's impossible. It's not possible. It must be the First Elder defending that queen. He's a dog of hers, so this guard must be lying as well. Despite what she felt inwardly, this arrogant bitch from the leopard tribe would never show it openly. She may be pompous and overly proud of herself, but even she knew better than to offend the one in charge right now. As such, the resentment could only be hidden in those eyes. Furthermore, if I find out who is the one spreading all these lies and framing the king, then it's the death penalty to that person. Now Mu Shui has lost all color as the blood drained from her face. A flash of panic quickly filled those eyes, in which she only managed to cover up by hanging her head. If these people really want to check, then they will definitely get back to me as the source. I can't let this continue. I can't let them get their way. The guard left and didn't do much else after throwing this warning out there. However, it doesn't mean others weren't going to come over. Right as Mu Shui felt safe and raised her head again, a beautiful yet strong figure had appeared in front. I said so before. The king only brought us here to care for the little princess. It's not what you assumed. Mooing, the older sister spoke with disapproving eyes. And I already promised mother not to throw you out there. But so what if I don't say anything? The fact that the king doesn't have any intent of taking a consort is already enough. They will eventually find out who's making the rumors, without me spilling her out there. Irritated by this, Mu Shui shoots a glare at her older sister before speaking in a low whispering voice. It's just that elder trying to help the queen. If the king had no intention, then why did he summon us into the palace in the first place? Just wait until the king returns, then you will see. And do you think you will be able to wait until that day comes? Mooing didn't get taunted and chuckled sarcastically. First Elder is already starting to investigate the rumors. What makes you think they won't trace the source back to you, when you've openly said it before the public? Growing cold in the face, Mu Shui clearly thought of that and retorted. Sister, don't forget those maids who came into the palace with us are all from our tribe. Do you think they will rat me out when their family is in the hands of father and mother? If they so much as make a peep, then it's enough for mother to kill them. Her voice sounded all somber and eerie to the ear. But thanks to the departure of everyone nearby, none was able to pick this fact up. Or are you assuming the elders in this palace are going to get involved with our tribe's internal affair? Besides, First Elder doesn't look like the type to randomly kill others. As long as those demons don't point to me, then what do I have to fear? It's not like that old fart is going to kill every maid they brought in. If that does happen, the king won't let him off either. Mu Ying's expression darkened over her younger sister's lack of care for their own tribeswoman. Don't forget, there is also those 2 guards from that day. They also heard your speech in the open. Shrugging over the small detail, Mu Xue obviously didn't think it's an issue based on her demeanor. Then I can just say I overheard it from someone else. First Elder only wants to find the source, he never specified who. After I get a scapegoat going, then all will be good. Sister, I advise you to get out of my business. Otherwise you won't be able to escape death once I become the consort. Mu Ying honestly felt numb to the heart over the threat. Honestly, she's never thought her own younger sister would be such a vicious and evil person. Fine, I won't expose you, Mu Xue. But don't say I didn't warn you. The king never said anything about taking a consort, so you better pray for yourself. Giving one last glance at this disgusting girl that was her own blood, Mu Ying was done here. The adorable Di Ling Yan won. Looking at the direction of her older sister's departure, Mu Xue's anger only increased until those nails had punctured the palm after clenching so hard. She actually drew blood, and didn't even realize it. Just like that, the storm of the Demon King taking in a consort gradually died down a bit after First Elder became enraged by the fact. It's just that. As the saying goes, there wouldn't be waves without the wind. Those who wants to dream would continue to dream, and those who wants to believe would continue to believe. In the eyes of the public, First Elder was firmly in the Queen's camp, so his words weren't taken that seriously. Several days later, a purplish figure descends upon the sky of the city, his silver hair fluttering against the wind, and making him all the more daunting to those who dare to gaze upon his existence. The citizens of the city seemed to have sensed this strong aura as well and hurriedly looked up. In an instant, that stunning face was reflected into their eyes, and causes the crowd to involuntarily take to the knee. First Elder also noticed this, and rushed out of his room like all the rest. When he did so and saw who it was, a happy expression promptly filled his face. Greetings to the king. Greetings to the king. This resonated across the city, thus announcing their king's return. As cold as always in his expressionless face, Ditsong didn't waste any time, and descended to the ground. Did anything happen while I was away from the palace? Afraid the others might say something foolish in this case, First Elder jumps the gun and explained. No, sire. There hasn't been anything as of late. The city is at peace right now. Aside from the occasional attacks from the Celestial Palace's people, nothing is notable. Then how about Dragoni and Bai Xiao? Did you manage to locate the 2 of them yet? The departure of these 2 were Bai Yan's greatest ache, so as her husband it's only right for him to pay attention. A layer of cold sweat flowed out of the elder's forehead. Dragoni has been found for a while now, and we are currently protecting her from the shadows. As for Sir Bai Xiao, after a pause he grits his teeth and decides to hide the truth. We haven't found him yet. If the king finds out about the rumors, then he will definitely be outraged, and might even punish me for failing to stop it. But if I can find the culprit behind it before he learns of the rumors on his own, then I can at least redeem myself. What's more, I only said I didn't find Sir Bai Xiao yet. I never said anything about never seeing him before. That's not a lie. Perhaps Ditsong noticed the strange behavior there, or he's just that aware of other people's tone. But he definitely pricked his brow. Even so, the Demon King didn't dig deeper, and instead changed the subject. Do you all only see me or something? At first the gathered crowd of demons didn't quite get the meaning behind that remark, but they soon realized why. Clinging to Ditsong's respective hands were 2 tiny soft buns. First Elder was the quickest to react and the quickest to kneel. Greetings to the little prince and little princess. Greetings to the little prince and little princess. Others also followed with that welcoming phrase, but because of Ditsong's existence, None dared to look up to gaze at the two adorable children. The adorable Di Lingyan too. MMM. Only then did Ditsong's expression lighten up. From this point forward, with the exception of my queen, the entire demon realm must obey the little princess and prince's command. Those who don't will be killed. The last word there reverberated across the air, causing all those who could hear having their back hair raising up. Furthermore, the doubt in their minds about the king wanting a consort was seriously in doubt at this point. Some are starting to completely lose that idea even. Meanwhile, for the princess herself, Di Lingyan was acting rather nervously by having to stand before so many strangers and in an unknown environment. She's never left the Sky Mountain, nor have she ever left her mother. Aside from her immediate family, the little soft bun has never met another person. Noticing this really quick, Ditsong softens up in his face. Don't worry, Lingyan. This is your home, and your mother has the highest authority here. As her daughter, you can do anything that you wish. Really? The girl asks with sparkling eyes. That's right. Aside from angering your mother, you can do anything to your heart's content. And if anyone dares to go against your will, I will take care of it for you. Unlike the harsh and strict treatment to his eldest son, Ditsong only wanted to pamper this daughter of his. Easing up, Di Lingyan reveals that peachy smile of hers, and then grabbed onto her old man's hand. As if I will anger mother, I love her the most. Also, big brother already said, I need to keep those bumpy people like mother away from you, Papa. When saying this, the little demon princess didn't forget to gesture to the chest area, as if that would help. Due to her extremely young age of barely past 1, Di Lingyan's knowledge of the female and male parts are still limited. Therefore, Bai Xiachen had to go out of his way to describe the characteristics of a woman to his younger sister. Bumpy people away. Going black in the face, Ditsong had to hold back the brewing anger inside to avoid scaring his own daughter. Do you mean it was your older brother who taught you this? What sort of nonsense did that stinking brat teach his younger sister? Yes, Papa. Big brother said those bumpy people are all bad people if they try to get close to you. Blinking her eyes innocently, Di Lingyan easily sold her big brother out without a second thought. The way she said that could even be called heredity, because that's also the same manner in which Bai Xiachen sold his old accomplice Di Xiaowan, demon princess, out to Ditsong back in the day. What is a bumpy? Di Jin Tian boy asks with a look of confusion. Why am I not bumpy, and why isn't Lingyan bumpy either? Not bumpy. Scratching her own head after her brother's comment, Di Lingyan girl also grew all confused in the face. It's probably because me and mother are not the same sex either. Now Ditsong's already black face had grown distraught. If someone would have to describe the Demon King's expression, it would be someone having their jaw dropped and eyes popping out in disbelief. How did it turn out like this? All I did was leave these two in the care of that rascal for a little bit, and they're already turning out this way. Afraid his two children would spell out something even worse from those little mouths of theirs. Ditsong hurries to change the topic. Didn't you two say you were hungry? Let's go, Papa here will get some really delicious food for you too. Like any children of their age, food was the best lure to divert their attention. This was especially true for Jin Tian, the little glutton. He's literally drooling at the mention of food. Coming before First Elder with his kids in tow, Ditsong was about to make the command when he noticed the increased level of nervousness from the other side. What's wrong? Why are you so afraid of me? Are you hiding something? The adorable Di Lingyan 3. I wouldn't dare. Awkwardly forcing a laugh to calm himself, First Elder really wanted to make himself disappear right now. Is there anything else you need of me, sire? Let the maids I chose for my daughter to come over. I have something to say to them. Yes, sire. Bowing his head, First Elder readily complied, and went to carry out the order. It didn't take long for the set of ladies to arrive, due to being organized into one courtyard. Greetings to the king, princess and prince. Among the gathered ladies here were of course Wuxia. She's nearly cracked her own teeth, due to the strong level of resentment coursing through those veins. The queen really gave birth to a little princess? Maybe. It's just a coincidence. Even if the king has amazing power, There's no way he can predict the future and foresee his own child's sex. In light of her own thoughts, Mu Shui had at least enough awareness to realize trying to show her true emotions here, right now, would be a death sentence. In the end, the leopard girl continued to keep her head down in order to avoid eye contact. From this point forward, all of you are to serve my daughter the princess here. If anything happens to her, then I won't let any of you go. The crowd shuddered under that threat and kept their heads even lower. Furthermore, I do not want to see any man get close to or approach my daughter. If there are any violators, then the crime will apply to those who failed in this as well. When he chose these maids for his precious gem of a daughter, Ditsong specifically vowed to himself that no brat would get near. What if they teach her the wrong things and snatch her away while she's young? That would be terrible. Yes, Your Majesty, the maids answered in unison, but with a nervous note mixed into their voices. Unlike when First Elder attempted to squash the rumors, this time Ditsong really did kill it off in its entirety. After all, rumors are rumors. This order here was the real deal. As for Mu Shui, she's being devoured by jealousy at this point. Not even she could deny the fact that her own belief has been crushed. Nothing but a half-breed born of a human woman. Why does the king like this runt so much? Muing naturally saw through to her own younger sister's thought pattern there. However, when she saw no noticeable change or outburst from the other girl, this eldest sister undoubtedly felt relieved, both for herself and her tribe. First Elder, also go find some more people to take care of the little prince. It's then that Ditsong got to caring for his youngest boy. Jin Tian is still young. I don't want anyone using his ignorance to their advantage. Unlike his trust in his daughter being all innocent, this father had a different opinion about his boy though. When it comes to the male of his family, Ditsong's certain both by Xiachen and Jin Tian would eventually want to learn about the differences between men and women. By then, what if multiple girls try to seduce his son and use him? That's out of the question, because the men of his family could only have one wife, just like himself. Others did not understand the meaning behind their king's word, but First Elder did. Without saying a word to explain to the others, "Yes, sire. I will gather the necessary people for the little prince. I will also make sure they teach His Highness the needed lessons." "Then go now." "Yes." Arching his fist, the elder left without delay. Due to not foreseeing the new baby being a set of twins, no servants were prepared for poor Jin Tian by Ditsong. However, what this palace didn't lack were male guards. For that reasoning, it didn't take long at all for First Elder to organize a set of people he deemed worthy of teaching the new prince. Ling Yan, Ling Yan. The adorable Ling Yan 4. The little glutton ignored the guards brought over to serve him, and instead stumbled over to his sister's side, hand extending. "I want to be with Ling Yan." This? Unsure of what to do in this case, First Elder turns to his king, and got a shake of the head as the answer. For Ditsong, it's fine if the twins want to stay together. As long as the one feeding and caring for his children are these maids and guards, then it's all the same. "Come with me." The Demon King signals for the elder to follow him into the study. "It's time I started preparing for the mission Yenner gave me." In a blink of an eye, both of the commanding figures were gone, leaving only the kids and servants behind. "All right, all of you can go down now. I will take care of the little prince and princess," Mu Shui says after seeing her chance here. Based on what she saw, the king loves the two kids the most. If she could somehow please them, then becoming the consort would be a piece of cake. Or that's what this leopard girl believes in anyways. For the other maids that was arranged for Ling Yan, they are all from the leopard tribe, so they would of course listen to Mu Shui's words. However, that's not the case for the palace guards who remained still along with Muing, frustrated over her elder sister's behavior. "Did you not hear me or what? The princess and prince will be taken care of by me. You are not needed." Muing didn't pay any heed to that outburst and just kept quiet. She's not dumb enough to leave not knowing what her vicious younger sister would do. What if she hurts the royal family? That would be catastrophe to the tribe. Red in the face after finding no movement, Mu Shui turns to the kids for help. "Princess, Prince, my name is Mu Shui. I've been tasked with caring for you too. I know how to make a lot of tasty food, So tell them you only need me, okay? Which child doesn't like to eat? I only need to seduce these little rascals with food, then they will cooperate with my plans as I see fit. Jin Tian the little glutton was the first to respond by taking a step back despite his love for food. Ling Yan. Her smile is so scary I'm scared. Is she the so-called bad people mentioned by Big Brother? Staring the girl up and down, Ling Yan wrinkles up her nose and placed both hands around her own chest. There's no bumpy here though. Big Brother said only those with bumpy is the same gender as mother. Mu Shue's face instantly went green. True, she's flat-chested. But there's no reason for these two rascals to make fun of this fact, right? Oh. Jin Tian nods in agreement with his sister. That explains why she's not as beautiful as mother then. It's because she doesn't have bumpy. Mu Shue's expression instantly darkened. Right as she's about to lash out and snap, the glaring looks from the nearby guards promptly stopped her in her tracks. Gulping and forcing a dry smile. What are you talking about? Of course I am a woman. What is a woman? Ling Yan asks, blinking her eyes all innocently. Is it edible? Looking at her innocent appearance, it's really hard to guess the little soft bun meant anything else otherwise. Yet it was devastating to the heart and crushing to the receiver's esteem. Finally unable to bear this nonsense, Mu Ying steps forward and got down to ground level with the two kids. Smiling kindly in the face. Both highnesses, I am Mu Ying, a maid your father the king tasked in caring for you too. It's getting late already. Mind if I take you to have dinner? There's some very tasty dishes I'm sure you will like. The adorable Di Ling Yan 5. Jin Tian blinked and blinked as he spoke. Ling Yan, she has bumpy on her body. Does that mean she's one of those bad people mentioned by Big Brother? Giving a serious look over Mu Ying the older sister, the little peachy princess shook her own head. She did not get close to Papa, so she's not a bad person. Big Brother said, do not let those bad people get close to father, otherwise mother will be angry. For the little peachy thing, those who provoke or anger her mother are all bad people. Therefore, while they are alone here, she must listen to Bai Xiaoqin's words of keeping the female gender away from Ditsong. Oh, nodding like he understands, Jin Tian the little glutton didn't have any objection to the logic. Papa always said Ling Yan is cleverer, so she shouldn't be wrong. It's then a low growling voice came from the tiny boy's stomach. Without delay, the little glutton reverts back to his silvery fox appearance, and lying there on the ground. This sudden change instantly sent Mu Ying into an alarmed state of course. She didn't know what's going on, or if she would be blamed for all this, which only made her face white and fearful. Don't be afraid, my second brother is always like this. Whenever he gets hungry, he will revert back to his fox form like this. Smiling brightly without any hint of ulterior motive, Ling Yan had the look of the perfect little girl, sighing in relief that it's not her own fault. Then please follow me, your highnesses. I will guide you two to the dining room. Grabbing the tail end of her brother, Di Ling Yan happily toddled behind her new maid. Perhaps it's the thought of immediate food being on the table, but her eyes are also showing more interest than before. Mu Shui, on the other hand, was seething with jealousy at this moment, after being left behind. What a hypocrite. Say you don't have feelings for the king? Then why are you trying to please the two highness? Damn bitch, just you wait. With average looks like yours, the king will never like you. After that resentful thought, this spiteful girl then narrowed her eyes down into a glare towards where the princess was leaving. If the little princess is this cute, then that means the queen can't be too far off. Compared to myself, which of us is going to be on top? What am I thinking? The king is that handsome. The gene must be from the king himself. There's no way that human woman can be anything more than average. Just like that blasted Mu Ying. Thinking up to here, this resentful and overly confident wench that was Mu Shui has gained a new light in those eyes. She's firmer than ever, and was determined to win over Ditsong. Sooner or later that man is going to be mine, and everything that he controls will also be mine to wield. In her view, whether it be Bai Yan, Mu Ying or the royal family, they're all her stepping stones to greatness. Heck, Ditsong was also a stepping stone, just that she doesn't realize it yet. After she's squeezed the use out of everyone knew her, she would readily toss them aside and move on. Giving one final glance at the peachy princesses departing back, Wuxia huffs a snort and turned away like a proud peacock. Maybe it's because she's been so obsessed with her own thoughts lately, or she's just that oblivious when the vile and jealous side comes out. But everything she did just now was under the careful scrutiny of those guards picked out by First Elder today. They all saw her behavior and was contemplating on how to report this to their liege. Study room of the palace. Due to how oppressive the atmosphere was in this room, First Elder had started to act all uncomfortable and shaky. Did the king hear already? Did he find out about the rumors? But this isn't right either. If he knows, then he would have exposed the whole thing before everyone. Why bring me to the study? Deetsong's provocation 1. Sire, is there something you need for calling me in here? First Elder asks with a restless tone. Did nothing really happen while I was away? Smirking at the uncomfortable appearance of his subordinate, Deetsong could tell something's bothering the old demon. Feeling a rock drop in his old heart, the elder makes a guilty expression. Truth is, after you and the queen left the city, Sir Bai Xiao came to see you. Immediately, a flicker of frost flashed within Deetsong's narrowed-up eyes. Bai Xiao came to the city? Yes, the elder replied timidly. But after hearing you and the queen were away, he left immediately. I couldn't stop him because I was in closed-door training, and only became aware of this recently. In the end, this old man still felt it's best for himself to keep the rumors away from the limelight. He's just too afraid of what would happen if he blew that out there before this man. For a long time, no words were exchanged between the two of them, until it got very awkward. Regarding the matter of my brother-in-law, I will personally handle it by sending my own subordinate. Right now I want you to complete another matter I have on hand. Please instruct me. Kneeling on the ground, First Elder readily complied. Pass the message down, say. In 3 days, I'm holding a gathering, and is inviting those from the Celestial Palace to attend. Let's see if those bastards will actually have the courage to attend. The most direct way in bringing those people would be to send a challenge. And it must be known to all to work. Yes, sire. Though a bit surprised by the order, First Elder didn't question his liege's command. Without hesitation, he left to carry out his mission, murmuring to himself as he watches that old departing back. Yenner, I have given you a chance now, the only chance I will give you. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Com. Right after leaving the study, the old elder had intended to go begin preparations for spreading the word, when he got stopped by one of the guards. First Elder, frowning in the face. What happened? Did something happen to the prince and princess? No, First Elder. It's something else regarding the maids tasked with caring for the princess. Among them is a maid called Wuxia. She's unwilling to follow the order given, and attempted to drive away the other maids in order to monopolize the princess. This news made the old senior darken up in the face. He's lived for many years, so he's well aware of what that maid intends to do. Leave them for now. There's many more important matters to handle first in the palace. However, have some of the guards keep an eye out for those maids. I'm suspecting the source of those rumors is somehow related to that group. Eyes narrowing in, First Elder felt frustrated at how many things there are to do for himself. Otherwise, he would have dug deep into this matter and pull out the one responsible for his own troubles right this instant. Yes, Elder. The guard obeyed and left without struggle. Deetsong's provocation 2. Sitting inside a wonderland-like valley, Bai Yin was entirely focused on her task at hand when a rumbling thunder struck her head, causing her hands to tremble heavily and partially losing control of the cauldron in front. This condition continued even until the last moment of her refinement, but in the end, she's done it. The pills inside the container was completed, and it smelled amazing. Sky Core Dan pill, it's finally finished. Making a heavy heave with her breath, Bai Yin felt a weight off her shoulders as she held the 5 little beads in her palm. It's taken a lot of efforts on her part to complete this creation, and there's no better time to take it than right away. Sitting cross-legged, she pops one into her mouth and felt an incredible amount of power surging from within. Maybe it's the scent of the pills that's attractive, but after making themselves scarce during the entire refinement process, the animals of the Sky Mountain finally decides to pop their heads out. It's just that. Right then, from above their heads, a loud rumbling thunder appeared again. It's terrifying for these creatures who's never experienced anything like this, which they quickly hit again as a result. Thankfully, the breakthrough trial didn't last very long. Only a couple of minutes, and it was over. However, the changes in Bai Yan's body was on a whole new level. She's now at the high divine stage. This isn't enough. If I want to deal with those from the Celestial Palace, I need to prepare several more things just in case. Faintly furrowing her brow, she once again turns to the alchemic book in her possession. Through the various pages and recipes, there are many Bai Yan could try making right now to help her cultivation. However, that's not the type she needs. The kind she's looking for was the type that could help make a difference during intense combat. Metal Heart Dan Pill. Can make the heart hard as metal. Unless the opponent is a demi-divine lord ranked, they cannot injure me on the spot. The effects will last for half an hour. Afterimage Dan Pill. Can boost the user's speed to incredible levels. It's a good pill to use if I want to run away from my opponent, but other than that, it won't help if my foe is much stronger than me. Caressing her own chin, Bai Yan continues to read the book until she eventually stops at a page near the end. Demi-Divine Dan Pill. Able to push the user's strength directly into that level. But the side effects are extremely dangerous. Not only will I not be able to get out bed for months, each person can only consume this once in their lifetime. In other words, whether it be this pill or other type of forceful recipes that can increase her strength for short durations, she could only take them once out of precaution. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Calm, clenching her fist over this bad news. I'll save this for backup. I can't waste this unless I have to. This time I will make those bastards pay a heavy price. Finding it safe to come back out, the celestial fox decides to come up and lick Bai Yan's hand. Its face said it all. She's sorry for hiding and such. Deet Song's Provocation 3. After some more back and forth between the two of them, Bai Yan eventually got the gist of what this little fellow wanted. You are saying you want to leave with me? A heavy nod comes from the fox. She has been in this place for many years already. She's long grown tired of it. Now that a chance has come for her to leave, there's no way this celestial fox would give it up. Smirking at her little friend's behavior. Don't you hate men in general? If you leave with me, then you are bound to meet a lot of men in the outside world. Can you guarantee you're able to control that temper of yours? That brought a wave of hesitancy in the fox. However, it's only a brief delay before she nodded firmly again. All right, then can you contract with me? Bai Yan asks with a happy grin. The fox nodded again, of course. After a year of sharing this valley with Bai Yan, she's long grown a strong attachment to this woman and her two children. Take these days for example, having no company to play with was killing the celestial fox. Very well then. Relax yourself while I complete the soul bond with you. Closing her eyes, Bai Yan sent a part of her soul into the fox's head, and promptly signed a contract like she always does. Unexpectedly for the celestial fox. Once that was done, she felt an odd and confusing sensation circulating across her own body and memories. Why? Why does this human soul give me such a familiar feeling? Oh, why can't I remember anything? Knocking her own head in frustration, the celestial fox wanted to shake away this confusing and uncomfortable state. If only Bai Yan paid more attention to her new familiar's behavior in that moment, she would have dug deeper to find out why. Unfortunately, she wasn't. The lady's too busy harvesting some more herbs for the next batch of pills she's going to refine. At the same time, over in the Celestial Palace, the keepers are all outraged while gathered together. Those demons got some nerve. How dare they provoke us? Keeper Ling says that with a dreadfully dark expression, his words seething with anger at those he considered enemies of this world. Keeper Zun was similarly the same in his tone despite being the kindest of the bunch. We were planning to go persuade the Demon King to produce a young fox for us anyways. This might be a good opportunity to do just that. However, I do not recommend only one of us attending considering how cunning and sly that person is. I'm sure some sort of trap is lying in wait for us. They wouldn't, right? The demon realm may have weakened considerably compared to before, but they were once considered a realm equal to the celestial realm. Doing that would undoubtedly tarnish their reputation. Another keeper wearing a teal-green robe asks the others with a gloomy face. And why wouldn't they? Keeper Ling surprisingly agrees with his counterpart Keeper Zun for once. You think the demon realm is strong? Remember, back then Song exhausted his powers in order to resurrect that girl's soul. Otherwise, why would we be able to seal the demon realm until today? Gripping his fist, this senior who has been known to have a temper towards his enemies felt frustrated and angered for not being able to destroy the threat in the past. And don't forget, that demon king is a fox. Foxes are inherently sly and devious. Even if he's weakened and not at his prime, I'm sure there are many tricks he's conspiring to use against us. The gathered group were quiet without objection to that idea. True. In their view, the fox race are all cunning and sly creatures that would use everything in their means to defeat a foe, even if it's underhanded and dirty. Song's provocation for. So, Keeper Ling seemingly calms down somewhat in his voice. Keeper Zun and Keeper Hyun will go together. The others here will remain in the palace in case anything happens. The others didn't object to the idea after some thought, and felt it reasonable, though they did have opinions about the matter. But they too understood there weren't any better options. Keeper Ling, when will we set out then? Keeper Hyun, who normally don't speak up, asks after slowly getting off the seat. We will set off now since the Demon King set the date to be 3 days from now. The grumpy keeper snickers a sneer at the impending gathering. In Keeper Ling's view, it would greatly hurt the Celestial Palace's credibility if they refused the invitation. Moreover, he also needs to confirm it in person if that Demon King was the real deal or some fake. But, Keeper Hyun pauses over his own words. What if this matter becomes known to the Celestial Lord? How do we solve that? Celestial Lord. The room turned silent over that title and grew unnervingly creepy in the air. Do you really think that the Celestial Lord loves that woman to that extent? Clenching his fist until it's making a crunching sound, Keeper Ling's anger started to boil over again. Do you think he will go that far for her? Isn't that the case? Despite the firm belief from the elder, the others in the room weren't so sure on this topic. After all, the Celestial Lord did, and continued to leave them for 1,000 years just for her. That's a fact. Ho, you are all foolish. Snickering a grin, Keeper Ling went ahead to explain his reasoning. Did you forget how we won the war back then? For the sake of this world, for the sake of the celestial realm, the Lord abandoned her back then. And for the same reasoning, he will do it again. That's right. The Lord has the world in his heart. There's no way he would abandon everyone for the sake of a single woman. That finally settled the matter for the rest of the keepers. Sure, they are in agreement one woman couldn't possibly compare to the whole wide world. But they are also aware of how much regret that incident back then caused Chewy God. Keeper Ling didn't care for what the opinion was at this point. He only wants to see it for himself. Walking out of the room, he snarls sarcastically. Demon King, I like to see how much ability you have left after 1,000 years. This time, even if the Lord tries to stop me, I must send the demon realm and its foul abominations into destruction. Regarding the date set 3 days later, Song actually didn't send it directly to the Celestial Palace. Rather, it's to the entire Celestial Realm. Even if these keepers respected their Celestial Lord, their pride and esteem would never allow them to ignore the provocation. At this moment, not far from the Celestial Palace, a certain teal dragon was hovering above the sky, its head carrying a majestic white tiger while flying. White Tiger, Mistress said the place should be here. Singy the azure dragon gazes down at the open land with cold harshness. This is the bordering area around the Celestial Palace with lots of disciples living here. You say, what if we destroy this place? What will those people feel? Isn't it obvious? Those bastards will probably come chasing us once they find out we trashed their territory. Little Rice proudly proclaims, his appearance mighty and strong in his grown teenage form. But I'm a good tiger, I always listen to Mistress. Since she doesn't like this place, I'm going to ruin this area for her sake. The thought of 2 years ago, whereby Yen suddenly removed the connection between himself and her still lingered in the tiger's heart. So, right after he got word from her to attack this place, this loyal cat wasted no time to come here. Song's provocation 5. Mistress said there's likely a barrier around here, otherwise the Celestial Palace wouldn't dare to let their disciples come here to train. Blinking his tiger eyes after saying that, Little Rice then falls in a contemplative expression. But, I think I have a way to get in. Celestial Palace. A series of hurried running footsteps quickly shattered the quiet here. Respected keepers, something big has happened. A guard barges through the doorway and enters the gathering hall, which made the gathered seniors here frown at the intrusion. What happened to make you come in such a rush? A yellow-robed keeper asks with an unhappy voice. It's about the area where the most talented disciples are training in. They've been attacked by a white tiger and green dragon. The strength of both demons are at the high divine. If something isn't done right away, I fear it will be too late. What? The faces of these people all changed greatly over the horrible news. Green dragon and white tiger? Aren't those the demon generals? Why are they still alive in this world? The yellow-robed keeper clenches his teeth and fought to press down his anger. Are you sure those two are what you described? Yes, please make your decision, respected keepers. If we wait any longer, then those talented disciples might be completely wiped out at this rate. But the bad news doesn't stop coming. Before these seniors could comment or come to a decision, another guard of this place had come running in to report. Respected keepers, the back mountain's herb garden has been destroyed by someone. Their expressions were already ugly to begin with. Now it only got worse and became drearily dark and dangerous. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Calm, those demons got some nerve. Do they think just because we accepted the Demon King's invitation that we don't have anyone left in the Celestial Palace? The yellow-robed keeper continues to ask for more info while struggling to keep himself from snapping. Who did it? Is it the demons who destroyed the herb garden in the back mountain? The guard meekly replied. It's a child that looks to be about 7 or 8. He's not incredibly strong, but that child is surrounded by demonic beasts. Among the pack is one that's at the high divine level. Keepers, should we send people of similar strength to go capture those intruders? Turning to his peers, the yellow-robed keeper didn't speak right away this time. Instead, he's thinking up a plan on the best course of action. Everyone, right now the Celestial Palace only has us left here. It used to be that old coot who is the strongest among us, followed by Keeper Ling and Keeper Zun. But all three are unavailable to help in this case. Keeper Fire, Keeper Rock, the two of you will take that white tiger and green dragon. Though both of them were only at the peak of the high divine in the past, but it's been many years since then, we don't know how powerful they truly are. For insurance sake, both of you need to take absolute precaution and not underestimate them. That said, he then turns to the remaining people in the hall. As for the intruders in the back mountain, I, Keeper Sky and Keeper Wu, the three of us will go handle that boy and his pack of monsters. I speculate the child is likely the Demon King's child, the current prince. If we capture him, then it will be a great card for us to use in our upcoming plan. Good granddaughter, you've returned one. A flash of killing intent flickered within the yellow-robed keeper's eye. He's never found the practice of Keeper Ling to be wrong. In his view, the demon realm and its creations all deserve to be treated the same, and that's crushed firmly under their feet. Keeper Red, you stay at the palace. The order was directed towards an old lady, though her contour has been well maintained without much wrinkles at all. But that white in the hair told everything one needs to know about her true age. After instructing everyone he needs to instruct, the two groups promptly sped towards the back mountain and training area. At this time above the herb mountain, a dragon with a strange head was hovering in the sky while carrying a young boy on its back. As the leading head of this pack, Dragon Flame watches on as the rest of the weaker monsters trampled across the garden, trying their very best to wreak as much havoc as possible. For the defenders of this mountain, They from the Celestial Palace naturally felt outraged at being unable to stop this. They wanted to fight, but their bodies were well beyond exhausted and injured to move anymore after being knocked down so many times. Pa! It's then the old goat saw the resentful eye from a person below and slapped him across the face. Due to this, the poor guy got sent flying and landed several meters away, blood spitting out from the mouth. When did I, the great dragon god, allow you to stare at me with such eyes? You humans here are all nothing good. Want to slaughter the demon realm? Now I'll let you know what it means to offend our kind. Also, this celestial palace really is useless, sending all these weaklings that can't do shit to this back mountain. Every word he threw out were like knives for these defenders, because it's the facts right now. They are proud people who already felt humiliated for being stationed in the mountains. Now they aren't even worthy of doing that in the eyes of these animals. Dragon Flame, those bad people from the Celestial Palace should be coming soon. We should leave first. Bai Shachen says, remembering clearly the main objective of this mission wasn't to fight, but to lure the remaining keepers away. Puckering that goat mouth displeasingly, Dragon Flame shoots one final glare at the humans beneath himself before giving in. So where are we going now? Go and meet my mother. Taking out a medicine bottle and tossing it over to the old goat. Mother said to use this when we need to run. It's a type of pill that can increase the user's speed, so hand them out to the rest of the demons down there. Read more chapter on VIP novel. If there wasn't such a pill in her possession, then Bai Yen might not allow her son to do this thing on his own. After all, it's no secret regarding the importance of her son and the temptation of capturing him. Okay. A pill each. After handing it out, every one of these demons were elated to find their bodies amazingly light after consuming the item. Good granddaughter, you've returned too. After issuing everything out, Dragon Flame wasted no time to move on to the next step of destroying this place. In one full breath, he ignites the entire mountain in a thick layer of flame, using his own fire. Little Master, the people of the Celestial Palace are all evil. There's no reason to grieve for them. They've all stained their hands with the blood of us demons, so it's best to kill them here before they turn around and bite us in the back. The old goat says after noticing the saddened expression along the boy's face. Furthermore, it's a good way to delay more time by killing these defenders. Pinching his lips into a thin line of unhappiness. I understand your approach, but this is a whole mountain's worth of herbs here. Those plants are all innocent. Now they're all wasted because it's burned. Imagine giving it all to Mother, how great would that be? Looking at the boy's regretful expression, Dragon Flame just couldn't stop twitching in the corner of his mouth. Originally the old goat believed the kids, saddened over the loss of life. Yet it turns out it's the polar opposite. Clearly he's overthinking things and worrying for nothing. Making a dry cough, he pulls out a storage bag and hands it over. Although I'm not an alchemist like your mother, but I can still distinguish between the herbs giving off a strong spiritual presence. I picked the couple I deemed valuable in there, so you can give her these. That great news instantly turned that frowning little face into a happy one. Then we should hurry, I don't want Mother to wait long. Remember, from now on everything you do must be in the best interest of Mother. In the eyes of this son, Bai Yen was his most important person, so whether it be materials or manpower, he would always want to offer only the best. Just like that, the group left as fast as they came, leaving no traces of their presence once gone. At the same time as well, all was quiet after most of the keepers has left the Celestial Palace. Most didn't know why they had left in such a rush, but they didn't need to because a loud smacking bang quickly occupied their minds after the front gate was blown apart. Running outside, they were all met with a beautiful woman floating there in the air. She wore a blood-red dress, expressionless and cold in the face, and her features were oppressive and dangerous to the eye. Who dares to come make trouble at the Celestial Palace? An enraged voice booms out from within, followed by a group of heavily armed guards brandishing some very shiny weapons in their arms. Unexpectedly though, instead of attacking right away like they should, these men only showed shock along their faces once they got a better look at the assailant. Why does this 20-something-year-old looking woman look so much like that Bai Ning? You. Who are you? It's understandable for these men to react this certain way. Several years back, Bai Ning had personally attacked the Celestial Palace, while the keepers were in closed-door training, and wreaked havoc to the defenders. The bunch here was among the survivors, so the experience was still considered a nightmarish taboo for them. Who am I? Smirking with contempt in her smile, Bai Yan's eyes grew frosty. Of course someone who is here to kill you. Of course someone who is here to kill you. Good granddaughter, you've returned 3, bang. This time the lady in the air no longer waited for the crowd to speak. Raising a long sword, she slashes down with roaring ferocity, and sends those unable to dodge into a pool of blood. The remaining individuals were stunned by this horrific picture, only staring upwards at the increasingly dark image of the female, who gave them fear and a sense of dread. Hi, Divine? This woman is actually in the high Divine level? Quick, go call the Guardian Knights. But, due to Bai Yan's incredible level of aura swarming over the entire place, these people in fact didn't need to shout for help. Before they knew it, a squadron of heavily armored soldiers had rushed out from within again. Unlike the last group though, these people are clearly well trained based on their uniformed footsteps. Girl, you've only recently broke into the high Divine level. How dare you come make trouble at the Celestial Palace? Don't think it will be so easy to leave after causing this much damage. Speaking out was a middle-aged man, who led the knights in front. Even if the keepers had left, there are still plenty more powerful individuals within the premise. For example, these Guardian Knights are the elites of the elites, each wielding power equal to a high Divine in their own respective way. But, Wu Ling will never kill an unnamed individual. Now tell me, what is your name, girl? Flickering with light in those eyes, this knight by the name of Wu Ling locks onto Bai Yan like a hawk. There's really no other reason for this man to be so obsessed with formalities. It's because he hates Bai Ning from the hearts down. When the lady besieged the Celestial Palace back then, he too was at the forefront defending this place. Sadly for him though, he too suffered defeat despite using all the resources at his beckoning. Now that another woman has come and looks so similar, how could he not be obsessed? Bai Yan on the other hand wasn't so patient as to cater to some nobody though. Wielding her Godslayer, the sword continues to grow bigger and bigger, until it covered the entire sky on her location. You are unworthy of knowing my name. Boom. Wu Ling was shocked as that gigantic blade came swinging down at himself. Without hesitation, he retreats up to several meters to one side, just so he could narrowingly avoid the attack. However, that's not to say the couple of people next to him were so fortunate. They were squashed like ants under that mass of metal, thus turning them to mush. This shocked everyone involved, especially the leading knight that was Wu Ling. He may not know the makeup of that blade, but he does know his peer's strength. Among one of the knights that got killed there was a low-level high Divine, just like Bai Yan herself. Imagine being killed in one hit. That's ridiculous. That sword, what is it made up of? Kill, kill, kill. It's then right when everyone's expression was looking terribly ugly, due to what has happened, a mad crazy laugh interrupts their focus. As a result, even Bai Yan has had to turn to the side and see what's going on. Coming out was an old coot wearing a set of ragged-looking clothes, his hair messy like a bird's nest, and clapping that hand with excited glee. Awesome! These bunnies should all be killed. Ha ha ha. Against this strange picture, Bai Yan couldn't help but frown at the stranger. Likewise, the old coot also noticed the woman and gazed upwards. But unlike the former who was frowning, he actually started to stutter in the mouth when speaking like a rock stuck in the throat. Bai, my good granddaughter, you're back, you're back. I knew it. How could you have left your grandpapa behind? I knew you would return. Demi-Divine Pill 1. Are you referring to me? Bai Yan finally asks after growing hesitant, but did so anyways due to the intense look from the old coot. Bye-bye? You don't recognize me? I'm your grandpapa. Is it because of them? Did you lose your memories because these bastards killed you? It must be them. Growing maddeningly red in the eye, the crazy old coot gradually shifts his gaze towards the back mountain, where some of the keepers were currently at. But that quickly changed when he turns back to Bai Yen. This time there's only kind warmness in his voice. Good granddaughter, don't be afraid of those bastards. Your grandpapa here will protect you. I won't let them hurt you. Instantly, a wave of aching pain filled Bai Yan's heart when staring at this old man's appearance. She couldn't stop it nor know why she's so emotional to the point it's suffocating. No, I can't procrastinate any longer. I must hurry and deal with these guys before those keepers come back. Thinking up to here, Bai Yan's indecisive mindset swiftly firmed up. I am not that granddaughter you keep mentioning about. You've got the wrong person. I got other things I need to deal with. Can you leave this place first? Wrong person? The old coot's eyes suddenly got dull like the soul just left him. No, how can I recognize the wrong person? You are my good granddaughter. I am not wrong. Bye-bye. Do you still blame me for what happened back then? For not being able to protect you? Is that why you won't recognize me? He then extended his hand out like a child wanting to plead for forgiveness. Ooh, bye-bye. I know my wrong, so don't leave me behind. The more he sobbed, the more painful and heart-aching it was to the ear, like he's trying to convey the pain and loneliness he's suffered over the years. For the only company Bai Yen brought along, which was the celestial fox, she didn't like the way it was panning out at all. For one thing, the keepers who went to the training ground in Demon City wouldn't return as quickly even if they got the message. However, those who went to the back mountain could easily return in no time at all. For the sake of her mistress and herself, the fox hurried to lick the lady's hand to remind her to move it lest they get trapped here. Celestial fox, you take this old man and leave this place first. I'll come after I finish up here. Bai Yen orders after understanding the issue here. Awah. Complying by jumping down from her shoulder, the fox wasted no time to bite down at the old coot's robe to drag away. But the dull dazed state of this crazy old coot wouldn't last long. After a short distance, he suddenly regained himself and pushed the fox away to run back over to Bai Yan's spot. Bye-bye, good granddaughter. Grandpapa will not leave you. I will never leave you again in this life. Boom. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Calm before more could be said, Bai Yen had already brandished her Godslayer to release its power. As a result of that, the recoiling force had sent the old elder flying back several steps. Impudent wench. Wu Ling sneered, drawing his own sword as well to confront the lady. Unlike his peers, this leading guardian knight moved like lightning. With one leap, and he was already in front of Bai Yen, his blade aiming straight for her face. Demi-divine pill too. Bai Yen immediately raised her Godslayer to defend herself. With a loud bang as metal scratched against metal, sparks flew everywhere as their strength collided head-on. However, it's clear who was gaining the advantage here, as the lady's footing continued to crack and sink in from the crushing force. Fortunately, she had a backup plan. Taking out the readied bottle from her storage bag, Bai Yen pops the cork and swallows the pill without delay. Immediately, she could feel the effects taking place from within and lightening up her body, thus allowing her to disappear from within view of Wu Ling's blade. This pill was the exact same type she gave her son before, called Swift Wind Dan Pill. Unless the foe wielded the power of a demi-divine lord, Bai Yen would be able to make circles around the opponent using this. Seeing the incredible speed portrayed by the woman from out of the blue, Wu Ling's expression promptly turned dark. He wanted to catch her and swung wildly as a result. Sadly, all he caught were the afterimages and nothing more. Then before he knew it, a swinging flash of metal had come smashing down for his face. If not for the years of experience and instinct that told his body to move it, he would have been slashed into two. The rest of the Guardian Knights knew they couldn't stand back after seeing how close their captain came to losing his life there. Without further ado, everyone quickly surrounded the lady from all sides in a circling formation. Unfortunately for them though, speed would always come out on top. Forget about injuring Bai Yen, they couldn't even knock a corner of her dress. Very soon, a flustering look could be seen across Wu Ling's face. Who the hell are you? What's your relationship with Bai Ning? Why are you attacking the Celestial Palace? He had thought the other side wouldn't answer his questions, but who knew Bai Yen would by breaking out into a laughter. I am the wife of the Demon King, the Queen of the Demon Realm. And I am here to get revenge. And I am here to get revenge. The proclamation hit the crowd hard, causing them to go pale and horrified in the face. Good. Hit them harder. These bunnies should all be killed. That's what they get for bullying my granddaughter. Already forgotten the grief he showed earlier, the crazy old coot was clapping his hands repeatedly with glee in the face. Those who bully my granddaughter all deserve to die. My granddaughter is so good. Why would they want to bully her? And that what Yinro whatever, she and that group of bunnies are all the same. It's bad enough already for Wu Ling to contend with a foe that he dreaded, but to be hassled by the old coot, as well with those damning words, were just indignant and frustrating. Damn this old coot, he's also a member of the Celestial Palace. Why is he helping that blasted demon queen? What happened in the past to make him hate us so much? Read more chapter on VIP novel. Com. Demi-Divine Pill 3. Boom! Suddenly from out of the blue, a strong gush of wind came flying over from the air, aiming straight for Bai Yan's body, and forcing the lady to dodge. Thankfully she did so too, because the next thing she knew was a huge crack along the ground from where she was standing before. Moments later, a figure gradually emerges from the void to reveal the perpetrator. It's an old woman based on her appearance, but the clear indicator of her old age wasn't the face. It's that immense pressure exuding out of her body. She's clearly a demi-divine lord. Bai Yan's breathing rhythm definitely grew faster at the sight of this new entry. Sure, she already knew things wouldn't pan out exactly in the way she imagined things. That's why she prepared that pill ahead of time to flee if need to be. It's just that, having things outside her expectations was still worrying. Oh crap! The old coot rushes over to Bai Yan's side after muttering that aloud. Good granddaughter. Hurry and leave this place. That woman is bad. She will try to hurt you. Recognizing who it was, the old woman's gaze promptly turned cold and hard. Does this crazy old coot really recognize me? Old coot, did you forget you are also a member of the Celestial Palace? Dry and hoarse in her voice, Keeper Red barks this out with extreme frustration and anger. Stomping his feet in annoyance, the old coot clearly had other thoughts about the idea. Who is a member of the Celestial Palace? I only want my good granddaughter. I don't want to collude with you bunch of little rabbits. Snarling with disdain in her face. I really wonder if you've actually lost your mind, or just acting at this point. To think you would know how to use the word collude in your situation. Giving a glare in retaliation. You are the crazy one. Your whole family is crazy. You bunch of crazies aren't allowed to bully my granddaughter. Ha ha ha. Cackling a laugh over that insult, the old woman only found it funny. Old coot, if it was 1,000 years ago then I might be afraid of your strength, but you've long devolved beyond comparison after that shock. Now you want to threaten me? Don't think for a second you are a match for me anymore. From underneath that messy hair nest of his, the old senior actually revealed an aggravated light in those eyes, before he walked up to the old lady, who had already descended to the ground. Are you regretting it now? You want to return? But that sentence didn't even get to finish before the most unbelievable thing occurred. Right in front of the crowd for all to see, the old coot actually spat onto Keeper Red's face. That way your face will be cleaner, ha ha. Talk about being humiliated. The old woman swiftly wipes away the stain along her face, and then swiped her sleeve towards the other side. Careful, Bai Yan's heart nearly leaped out of her chest in that second. Without thinking, she had already grabbed hold of the old man to drag him over. But it's too late. In the end her gesture was too slow, and allowed the old lady's palm strike to land on the grandpa's shoulder. How are you? Bai Yan asks with an urgent face after getting him to safety. Demi-Divine Pill 4. Looking all pitiful like an injured child, the old coot tears up. Hurt. You wait here. Placing the old grandpa down to one side, Bai Yan shoots a magma-level glare over to that Keeper Red. Girl, so you are that demon queen? I have to say, you do have a lot of courage to come cause trouble here in the Celestial Palace. Snarling with disdain, the old woman didn't mind the look, and even found it amusing. I'm not here to make trouble, I'm here to kill you. Bai Yan's voice was full of arrogance and condescending attitude towards everything around herself, which promptly earned a laughing fit from the other side. Ha 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 ha. Little girl. 1,000 years ago you were not an opponent for us. What makes you think it will change this time around? Without Demon King Deetsong's protection, you aren't even worthy of coming into my eye. But don't worry. I'll give you an opportunity to live if you follow through with the proposal I have. Unmoved and rather annoyed by the constant rattle coming out of the old lady's mouth, Bai Yan moves to take the shining pill from her storage bag. This was the Dan pill she created back in the Sky Mountain, a forbidden product that a user could take only once in their lifetime, lest they suffer immense consequences for repeated use. And what opportunity would that be? She asks with indifference after swallowing her secret weapon. Not missing what Bai Yan did there, of course, Keeper Red didn't care and frankly answered. In the granny's view, the other side couldn't possibly contend with her own powers regardless of whatever means she resorted to, whether it be a weapon or drug. Ruah, she was harmed by you back then, which led to her long years of stagnant growth. If we want her to recover, then we are going to need the blood of a female fox of the highest degree, and it must be a youngling as well. Pausing to smirk over her next words. If you are willing to give birth to a daughter with the Demon King, and then give the young baby to us, then I can speak for the Celestial Palace to forgive you for your sins. Bai Yan's heart instantly tightened up over what she's heard. They want to go after my daughter Ling Yan? No, I can't let this continue on. I need to hurry and finish up here, and return to the city. In light of her swirling emotions of urgency and panic, she didn't let it show on the surface, and kept it hidden. Based on what? That's right. Based on what could these scumbags from the Celestial Palace demand the sacrifice of a newborn's life? In no part of a reasonable or sane mind could one make such a demand, let alone demand that of an enemy. That's what you call a brazen narcissistic mindset. Like I said, we need to help Ruah recover her health in order to avoid the incoming calamity. Now growing impatient in the face, Keeper Red grew more forceful in her voice. Moreover, what does it matter? It's going to be a newborn fox anyways. I doubt you are going to have any attachment to such a small speck of life. Compared to the life of this world, what does a single fox matter? Bluntly speaking, all this old hag meant was that your daughter's insignificant, and their own lives are what matters, so hurry and pony up the baby fox. Growing cold in her tone as well now, Bai Yan smirks dangerously at the shameless bitch. And what does it matter to me if this world lives or die? I, Bai Yan, will never sacrifice my own daughter. That's something you can forget about me doing. How can you be so thick-headedly stubborn like back then? Snapping out in frustration, Keeper Red was clearly getting impatient. No matter. It's not like the decision is only up to you. It's your husband, the Demon King, who has the final say, doesn't he? I'm sure he will gladly offer up the newborn fox, if it means saving his own hide and the demon realm. But don't worry. Once we get what we want, then the grudge between both the demon realm and celestial realm can be considered squared. That I can promise you. That obvious fake promise only fueled a mocking and contemptible chuckle from Bai Yan. Demi-Divine Pill 5. You think the feud is over just because you say it's over? Sorry, but between the celestial realm and the demon realm, only one will survive by the end of it. Bai Yan scornfully retorts. Haha, the old woman's anger grew deeper. That's not up to you anymore. If you didn't come to the Celestial Palace, then you might still have a choice. But you're already here at our doorsteps. That means we no longer have a reason to let you go. Also, it doesn't seem that pill of yours is having any effect, is it? Your alchemy may be exceptional back then, but from what I can see, you're only struggling for naught. Is that right? It takes time for the Demi-Divine Dan pill to take effect. That's why she's willing to talk so much with the old hag. However, the more they spoke, the angrier Bai Yan was becoming, especially when she remembered that sad face of her child, and the fact that the old coot got hit. It's then Keeper Red finally realized the gradually increasing power growing out of the girl from across herself. Going slightly white in the face, she grits her teeth. What did you just take? Smirking. Demi-Divine Dan pill. getting very ugly in the face at the name. To think I would make such a big blunder. She's also an alchemist, so there's good reason for this old woman to be angered and afraid. Though she didn't know exactly what the pill does at its core. But the increasing power level told her all she needs to know. By this point Bai Yin was finished in her preparations, and no longer needed to rely on the swift wind Dan pill to help her. In an instant, she's swinging down her sword at the old hag's face, and stirring a gush of wind in its wake. Watching this sudden turn of event from his precious granddaughter, the crazy old coot promptly climbs up from the ground, and made a worried face. How did my good granddaughter get so strong? Is she going to be alright afterwards? The celestial fox didn't miss that remark, of course, since she's the closest to the elder. Isn't this old man supposed to be crazy? Why does he know so much? Moreover, he keeps calling mistress his good granddaughter. What is his relationship with her? Due to the small brain in her head, the celestial fox only found it painful and annoying to dwell on the matter, hence her deliberate attempt at ignoring the issue. I got it. From out of the blue, the old coot pats his own forehead like he's enlightened to a great idea. Without anyone noticing, he makes a run for the inside of the estate, seemingly going to get something. Startled by the sudden behavior, the fox wanted to give chase at first, but her legs stopped after thinking it through out of worry for Bai Yin. Under the oppressive atmosphere of the gloomy dark sky, the old hag that was Keeper Red continued to deflect the blade using nothing but her hands. Even so, she was already feeling the strain on herself, and the recognition of the danger she's put herself in. The death of Demi-Divine Lord 1. Girl, you deliberately stalled for time just now, didn't you? Grinding her teeth with resentment in her voice, Keeper Red now got it on why this lass would spend so much time leading her on. Bai Yin didn't want to bother wasting more time on this old hag anymore, so she didn't verbally reply. Instead, she answered by disappearing in a blur, and then slashing down at the woman from the back. Though, her blade only just narrowly missed the target by a breath's hair, it still made the other side break out into cold sweat. Sneering with frustration in her tone now. So that's how it is. That pill is a forbidden drug to help your power grow for a short duration. No matter, even if you did get stronger, you're still no match for me who has already reached the intermediate level of the Demi-Divine Lord level. She may say that so proudly and confidently, but truth was Keeper Red wasn't so sure she could overcome Bai Yin in her current state. Nevertheless, the members of the Celestial Palace would never yield in their tempo. Even if she couldn't win, she must at least put up a front, especially when the opponent was someone that has an absolute grudge against them. Swish! Without another word to give rest, Bai Yin continues to attack with ever-increasing speed and strength. Not far away, Yun Ruoshi the Deceitful, which was currently spying on this battle from the shadows with her cold dark eyes. Why is she coming back here? Clenching the fist into a tight ball, she mutters this out with no recipient in mind. It's not enough that she got the Demon King's love? Now she also wants to come back and take what's mine away as well? If one could spew venom from their eyes, then this lady could most certainly do that right now. It's poisonous, just one glance, and that's enough to tell she would murder for her goal. Me, milady. Speaking was the maid from the rear, her voice meek and nervous while following closely behind. Shouldn't we go into hiding? Pa. Without any forewarning, Yun Ruoshi sends a loud smacking slap across her attendant's face and snapped around. You shut up. I do not need you to remind me. Based on what? Based on what can she appear again, and I must go into hiding? It was not easy for me to get this far in life today. So why must she return and destroy everything I have? That woman is nothing but a slut. Why should I be afraid of a slut? Huffing and puffing to make her own chest rise repeatedly. She was always like this, hypocritical and a liar. Back then all she needed was to speak for me before that old coot. Then I would also be that bastard's disciple. What close friend? She never took me as a friend. Unlike his current state of partial insanity and mad state, the old coot mentioned here was once upon a time the #1 keeper in the Celestial Palace, a person of immense power and influence. Imagine being offered a chance to become the disciple of said person. and all it required was a single request from a friend. The death of Demi-Divine Lord 2. That's pretty much the gist of how things went. Due to Bai Yan's refusal to put in a good word for her, Yun Ruoxi hated the former lifetime friend and began to hold a grudge in secret. From initial disgruntled resentment to pure hatred later on. That's how small-hearted this witch was inside. Ha, ha ha, this is all retribution. If that old coot had taken me as her disciple, then none of this would have happened. This is all karma. Laughing maniacally like she has a screw loose in the head, she gives one final glare to her one-time friend before turning around. In the end, this cowardly bitch didn't do nothing despite all those hateful words. Back over in the air, the old female keeper was starting to show signs of being overwhelmed under the constant attacks from all angles. Bai Yan, you ungrateful dog. Let's not mention the grudge between the demon realm and celestial realm. Your debt to Ruoxi alone is enough to make you offer up your daughter to save her. No reply came from Bai Yan, only an increased onslaught of attacks from the demon queen after that outburst. Back then she suffered incredible damage to her own body in order to save you. That act of kindness has cost her more than you can even imagine. She can't make an inch of growth because of you. Don't you feel even an ounce of remorse for what you've done? That finally drew a reaction, because it's just getting ridiculous. Snickering a cold laugh. And who is this Yun Ruoxi? Save me. And how did she save me? Gritting her teeth, Keeper Red sounded frustrated. You forgot? When you didn't betray us yet. It was Ruoxi who saved you from the horde of demonic beasts chasing you. She risked her life to save you. And you, not only did you not give thanks to her, you even tried to defend those animals. That debt alone is enough to make you offer up a fox baby. Ticking her lips upward, Bai Yan's expression was unbelievably frosty despite the smirk. First of all, what you say about a horde of demonic beasts chasing me is not possible. Secondly, if Ruoxi did save my life and become my benefactor, then Di Tsong wouldn't have wanted to slaughter the entire celestial palace. Pausing to gather her own composure as well after almost letting herself slip into rage. I am not the one from the past. The me now is only one person, the daughter of Bai Ning Bai Yan. Aside from the occasional flickers of memory coming out from the deep subconsciousness, Bai Yan couldn't truly say that past life was herself. At least not yet anyways. Nevertheless, she believes in Di Tsong and wouldn't doubt his words about the past. How can Ruoxi's story be wrong? The old hag sneered, not believing the other side at all. You were enamored by the demon king's beauty. That's why you kept maintaining the demon realm, did nothing to you. In the end you even turned the story around and tried to blame Ruoxi. That's how low and despicable you were. Ruoxi Yin Ruoxi? Not giving a reply, Bai Yin instead narrows her eyes in, because she just remembered why the name sounded familiar. If I'm not wrong, that Yun Ruoxi should be the same lady who tried to send assassins after Xiachen in that valley. As much as she would like confirm her speculations, this was obviously not the right timing. So without another thought, she musters up the strongest attack and roared out using the destructive force hidden within her Godslayer. The death of Demi-Divine Lord 3. It was already too late by the time the old hag reacted. Flying out like an arrow, she slams into the ground from the impact and stirs up a dust of cloud in her wake. Even the ground seems to shake under her body's weight, puking up blood as she slowly crawled back up. Bai Yan, do you really think you're strong? If it wasn't for that forbidden drug and that sword in your hand, you would never be my opponent. Unfazed by the taunt, Bai Yan continues to encroach on the old hag. I said it already. I will repay all the damage you people did to me in the past. Holding her Godslayer, she pumps as much energy as she could into the blade for the final strike. And as if to answer her call, the sword also started to vibrate and ring in coherence. This scared the old hag greatly. She could see the destructive aura coming out of that thing. And the blade was also growing bigger and bigger until it's a towering column in size. Originally Keeper Red wanted to dodge this beastly metallic body by dashing away. But clearly she's mistook her own condition right now, not realizing how weak she truly was at this point. In the end, instead of moving like she wanted, she only staggered a few steps and took the blow right over her head. Blood sprayed everywhere from the crushing blow, turning the woman into a pile of mush of gore and red. Just like that, a demi-divine lord that once ruled these lands have fallen, bringing down the curtain on this once powerful female of the ages. Bai Yin didn't come out of this unscathed, either, though despite killing her foe, she also stumbled backwards from the recoiling force. Using her Godslayer as support, she scans the surrounding area with her cold, hard gaze, until it eventually landed on the guardian knight, Wu Ling. Frightened by the attention, the knight captain instinctively retreated to a spot further in the back. Keeper Red is dead? A demi-divine lord, Keeper Red is dead. She died by this woman's hand? Run! Without another thought, Wu Ling turned tail and tried to flee for the opposition direction. But there's no way Bai Yin would let the man run away after all the trouble these people have given her. Before the person knew it, Godslayer had already pierced into Wu Ling's chest and dyed his armor into a bright red color. Seeing how her mistress was about to fall, the celestial fox did what any loyal follower would do and rushed over to help lend support. It's very worried over that pale complexion. I'm all right. Hoarse in her voice, Bai Yin manages to pull out a bittersweet smile. It's the effect of that pill. This is my first time using it, so the aftereffects are bound to be heavy. Who am I kidding? If this is the second time, then I'd be dead at this point. Coughing up blood from her mouth, she couldn't help but laugh at her own weakness. Oh right, where is that old man? The fox shakes her head from the question. It's a well-known fact she hated men in general, the old man being the same. However, it was Bai Yin herself who gave the order, so she could only comply. But since the old man was gone, there's no reason for her to catch up. Found it. It's then an excited voice came from the rear. Looking over, Bai Yin could see it was the old coot running over while waving something in his hand. It's a white bottle which he quickly offered up. The death of demi-divine lord 4. Good granddaughter, drink this, be good. Staring at the presented object, Bai Yin asks with a hint of worry. This is? Sparking in those old eyes. It's something you gave me before, did you forget? Are you sure you didn't recognize the wrong person? She asks with pricked eyebrows. Bai Yin could tell First Elder and State Teacher both knew the ins and outs from 1,000 years ago. But never once did she hear about this grandfather from the Celestial Palace. For that reasoning, she's guessing this old man likely got the wrong person. You are my granddaughter, I won't recognize the wrong person. Bye, quick, drink this, it will make your body better again. This is what you gave me back then. I only kept it because I couldn't bear to drink it myself. After saying that, the old coot once again offers it up with hope in his face, like it would crush him if she refused. Seeing this, not even Bai Yin could reject the offer, knowing what's at stake. Though it still worries her on the unknown content, she just didn't have the heart to hurt this old man. Taking it, she slowly pops the cork and took a whiff of the content. Immediately, a powerful fragrance hits her nose and sends her body feeling refreshed. This is, with surprise across the face, the lady almost couldn't believe what she's holding. Scratching that bird nest hair of his. I don't know what this is either. It's you who gave it to me back then. I saved it because I felt reluctant to waste it. That said, he then urges her to hurry and drink it. Without hesitation this time, Bai Yin swallowed the entire milky liquid in one full swing. She could tell it's something amazing, and she's right. Almost instantly, that stiff and unmovable body felt better, and those paralyzed limbs of hers began to move again. Bellstone milk. This is Bellstone milk. Bellstone milk, a miraculous liquid capable of strengthening an ordinary person's body and enhancing their recovery ability instantly. For this occasion, though, where Bai Yin was suffering the aftereffects of a forbidden drug, she couldn't completely recover just yet. Nevertheless, it would just be a matter of time before she does so, thanks to this amazing concoction. Thank you. Giggling with glee in those eyes, the old coot felt incredibly happy right now. You are my good granddaughter, my favorite granddaughter. Of course I will give you everything I have now that you're back. Against this warm reception, Bai Yin really felt guilty inside. Sighing, I'm sorry, but I really am not your granddaughter. No, you are bye-bye my granddaughter. I would never recognize the wrong person. Now getting a bit hysterical in his tone, the old man refuses to listen and grasped onto the lady's shoulder, those eyes firm and unyielding. Knowing it's pointless to argue on the topic, Bai Yin figured the best option would be to return to the city first and ask those who are more informative. Perhaps this old coot was right, and she really was his granddaughter. After all, it's like she had any reason to refute the claim either. Granddaughter? Seeing the girl had gone quiet, the old man started getting all anxious and pitiful in the voice. I really didn't recognize the wrong person. Please don't leave me, okay? Don't worry, Grandpapa. I won't leave you again. In the end, Bai Yin could only play along against those puppy eyes. It's not like she's going to lose a chunk of herself for acting as his family, turning that sad face into a happy one again like a mask change. Good granddaughter, I won't let those bad people hurt you again. I will definitely protect you. The death of Demi-Divine Lord 5. Ticking her eyebrows up, Bai Yin seems to remember what that old hag was saying about this old man from earlier. That he used to be very strong, but have regressed over the years due to his mental state. Grandpapa, can you let me examine your body? Bai Yin asks with a gentle voice that was akin to sugar to the ear. Of course, nodding repeatedly. What do you need to check? I will use my spiritual feelers to check the inside of your body. All you have to do is relax and not resist me, she says while slowly standing up from the ground. In an instant, the old coot could feel something seeping into his skin and swimming through his internal structure. Showing a tint of surprise in her eyes, Bai Yin appeared puzzled by what she found. Generally speaking, those who can't grow and become stagnant in their strength is because their meridian veins are blocked by something. But your body is perfectly fine from my examination. Can you tell me when your mental stability started to wane? What's going on here? This doesn't make sense at all. Shaking his old head like a rocking drum. I am not crazy. I am not crazy. Why are you saying I'm crazy like those people? I'm not crazy, I only want to find you. Seeing how antsy the other side was becoming due to her own words, Bai Yin hurries to calm the old man down with her soft cooing voice. Okay, you're not crazy, it's those people framing you. Yes, they framed me. I'm not crazy. Puckering his lips into a duck shape, the old coot still sounded unhappy based on the grunt he made. You don't have a place to go back to now, so why don't you return with me to my home? Bai Yin offers with a smile, nodding heavily. Okay, I'll follow my granddaughter anywhere, as long as you're with me then I'm happy. That actually brought the lady into a chuckle due to how sincere and honest it was. Nevertheless, the desire to find out what's wrong with this strange old man still lingered in Bai Yan's heart. It's too strange, a condition that shouldn't be happening. Mother. It's then a young excited voice calls out to her from the back. Before the woman could react when she turned, a soft and small body had already thrown himself into her stomach, and causing her to fall backwards from the impact. Warm in her face upon recognizing it's her own son. Thank goodness you're all right, but how come you're back so fast? Grinning like a child that he was, Bai Xiachen looked like a proud little boy that wants to be praised and patted on the head. Mother, me and Dragon Flame set that herb mountain on fire. We also killed many of the defenders there, so we decided to come back to you before those keepers find us. Such a pity we couldn't take all those herbs. Mother would have been so happy if we brought all those ingredients to her right now. Happily obliging her boy's wagging tail appearance, Bai Yin has never been one to be stingy on the pampering. That's a smart choice, Xiachen. It's not a good idea to face those keepers alone. And I know what you're thinking. Those herbs in that mountain isn't very good compared to the ones in the Sky Mountain. You don't have to look so disappointed on not taking everything. Really? Almost stunned in his little face, Bai Xiachen looked like a boy that got caught doing something naughty at being read so easily. But Dragon Flame gathered some of the herbs before we burned it. Does that mean Mother don't want them anymore? Almost breaking out into a laughing fit over her boy's silly behavior, Bai Yin really had to hand it to this son of hers. Of course not, you silly. How can I not want the things you brought back? Smooch, using action to express himself, Bai Xiachen directly gives the lady a peck on the cheek, before breaking out into a happy grin again. Mother is the best. I love mother the most. The death of Demi-Divine Lord 6. Leaving those arms after making that face, Bai Xiachen eventually took notice to the old man. Lighting up in the eye, Grandpapa, what are you doing here? Where did you run off to before? Did that bad woman hurt you? Startled by the recognition, Bai Yin speaks up with surprise in her voice. Xiachen, you know the grandpa? Nodding seriously. Mother, do you remember when you came to save me and Dragoni that time? This old man was also there, and he had a feud with that bad woman too. He got tied up after falling for her trap, so I was worried for a while if he's been captured or something. Perhaps the old coot also remembered the boy, because he answered immediately while scratching the back of his head. I remember you. There was also a little lass by your side that time. What's your relationship with my good granddaughter? Good granddaughter? A touch of shock took the boy's face by surprise. Turning to his own mother, all one could see in his eyes were puzzlement. Xiachen, greet your great-grandpapa. She ruffles the boy's hair a bit, turning from surprise to stunned astonishment now. Mother, you say he's my great-grandpapa? How come I got another great-grandpapa again? Bai Yan's own lips were twitching due to the way he said it there. Now that he mentions it, Xiachen does have a lot of grandpapa. In light of his puzzlement, Bai Xiachen still greeted the old coot like a good boy that he was. Great-grandpapa. Ache. Flushing red from embarrassing, the old coot kept rummaging through his whole body, for anything he could give. I don't seem to have a present on me. Can you wait a bit? I'll go back inside and grab something? Seeing how he's about to dash back inside and delay their departure further, Bai Yin desperately clings on the old coot's sleeve and said, Grandpapa, don't go back. Those people will soon come back here. We need to hurry and leave before they do so. Yes. Patting his head like he's done something foolish. My granddaughter is right. I can't let those little rabbits see you. They will hurt you, so let's get out of here. Mother, where's Little Rice? It's then Bai Xiachen decides to jump in and ask after not finding the familiar feline around. I told him and Singy to go back first. I estimate they are already at the city and inside the palace waiting. Lighting up with anticipation for their reunion, the boy couldn't wait for his friend to return to his side. Then can we go back now? I miss everyone, especially my little sister. Then let's go home. Holding her boy's hand, Bai Yin leads the way with her glorious smile. By the time the keepers returned to the celestial palace, all that remained to welcome their arrival were the carnage of the battle's aftermath. There are bodies littered everywhere, and the stinging odor of char and smoke from the back mountain lingering in the air, due to the huge fire that's still burning. Hurry, go in and see, one of the elders exclaimed after seeing the mess. The pretentious Yin Ruashi 1. Keeper Red. The complexion of Keeper Sky suddenly changed once he noticed the familiar body among the pile of corpses. Though the limbs are mostly crushed and the face deformed, that robe was all he needed to know in order to confirm the individual's identity. It's Red. Keeper Red has been killed. A grim expression filled the rest of the keepers like it's a plague. Unlike in the past, nowadays there aren't many who could reach the demi-divine lord level. And once they do, the individual would be revered as a keeper in these lands. Imagine having someone like that being so easily murdered today. What would that mean for the rest of them? The answer would be obvious. They are all in danger of being killed at a moment's notice. Who is it who killed so many of our people? And who killed Keeper Red? The crowd got eerily quiet in that moment, until the bristling sound of the wind could be heard. Right, where is Ruashi? The yellow-robed keeper suddenly asks with a frightened face. Right, we need to find Ruashi. We need to see if she's all right. She is the hope of us all. Another chimes in with equally anxious tone. If anything happens to the girl, then we will be the greatest sinners of the celestial realm. Many helped rummage through the battlefield for signs of the girl, but in the end they didn't find anyone remotely resembling that witch. Quick! She might be somewhere else if we can't find her here. Even if she's dead, we must at least find her corpse. The yellow-robed keeper stares off into the sky, his eyes firm and strong in this moment. Just like that, the 3 keepers that were left behind to defend the herb mountain had split apart in 3 different directions, each leading a group of their own followers in search of Yin Ruoxi. Right now back over in the vicinity of the herb mountain, where it's still burning ablaze, the witch who was speaking so arrogantly earlier had now grown tired and enraged. Based on what? Based on what can she achieve whatever she deems her mind to, even killing a keeper? How is she able to do all that when she wants? Milady! It's then a breathless voice cried out from the front. It was her maid calling out to her. Due to how much she had run, it's obvious the maid's out of breath, and was gasping for air once she stopped. Ugly and cold in the face. Did those people leave? Is the old coot gone too? The maid nodded. They're all gone, and just now Keeper Sky and the others are also back. The pretentious Yun Ruoxi too. What? Yun Ruoxi's complexion instantly changed over that news. If they came back earlier then maybe they could have stopped by Yen. But now, if they find out I'm unscathed and ran all the way out here, what would they think of me then? They will probably think of me as a coward. That means all my years of hard work will be destroyed. Sensing a powerful aura fast approaching her location, the witch promptly got fierce in the eyes. Without hesitation, she slams herself in the chest with a palm strike. Pfff. Spraying out blood from the mouth, she crumbles to the ground like a helpless doll. Milady! The maid exclaims from the front, not understanding why the woman would do that to herself. Miss you. Getting hard in the face. Do not under any circumstances say anything. If you say so much as a word then you know what will happen. Shuddering from the threat, the maid hung her head low in fear. She's been with this witch for far too long, so she's aware of the methods this Yun Ruoxi had in deceiving others. Then before more could be said between the 2 ladies, a yellow-robed figure had already arrived in their spot. What's going on here, Ruoxi? Who hurt you this badly? The yellow-robed keeper asks with serious concern after noticing how weak she was. Undeniably, this elder got mixed feelings about the girl when he was searching the area. One being that he's happy Ruoxi's alive somewhere, the other being disappointment, because she likely ran away in the heat of battle, or something along those lines. However, when he finally located the witch and discovered the weakened state she was in, the heaviness in his heart finally lifted. I knew Ruoxi is a brave and kind soul all along. Why did I doubt her? Letting trickles of tears slip down her eyes, the deceitful witch promptly grabbed onto the elder's sleeve and asked, Keeper Yellow, is Keeper Red, is she okay? The maid behind the lady almost popped her eyes out. Didn't Miss witness the death of Keeper Red herself? Why is she asking if she's dead or not? But from the warning she got earlier, the maid knew better than to speak up and question the idea. Keeper Yellow's expression got ugly in that moment. It's not hard for him to connect the dots on what narrative occurred, even if it's a fake one misled by the witch. Keeper Red, she's dead. In that moment, Yun Ruoxi's grasping hand froze. Then as if drained of life, she dropped them and started to laugh silently. There are tears flowing out of her eyes in drove, which made her appearance all the more believable. It's all because of me. I saw how that old coot brought Bai Yen over to the Celestial Palace, and couldn't do anything to stop them. I begged her to spare Keeper Red's life, but she refused and attacked me. Pausing like she's losing her voice due to all the sobbing, it was Keeper Red who saved me in the last second. She told me to run away, because I am the hope of everyone in this world. I wanted to stay and help even in my weakened state, but I also knew my existence is more important than my own self-interest. I'm sorry, Keeper Yellow. This is all my fault. I should have been there. I should have stayed. The pretentious Yun Ruoxi 3. Boom! A wave of anger poured out of Keeper Yellow's heart in that moment, causing his fist to crunch up into a ball and eyes flaring with fire. That old coot actually. How dare he help that woman kill Keeper Red? It's true. Aside from our lord and that demon king, only that old coot has the powers to kill us keepers. There's no way the celestial lord will do something like that. Nor can Demon King Deetsong come here, while he's at the demon city. He really betrayed us for that adopted granddaughter. Ruoxi, you've done nothing wrong. You defended the Celestial Palace when those people criticized us. That proves you are a kind-hearted girl. Besides, you left not for the sake of yourself, but everyone in this world as a whole. Even if we were to change place with Keeper Red, we would also send you away like she did. Anger has already taken over this elder's head, so the flaws in that story were easily able to slip past him. For one thing, why would the old coot want to kill her, and then let her escape to the mountain? That doesn't add up already in that regards. Why not hunt her down after killing Keeper Red? And there were many more flaws not listed, but at the end of the day, if this keeper had spent even a minute going over the issue, he would be able to point out all the major lies here today. But he didn't. Why? It's because he trusts this witch way too much to the point of being blind. Keeper Yellow, looking all pitiful and sad in her face. You don't have to keep comforting me. This is my fault. I was the one who saved Bai Yin back then. If I didn't save her, then none of this would have happened. I tried to go speak to her, use logic to persuade her, but she didn't listen. Then when I brought up the subject about using a young fox's blood to heal my body, she flew into a rage and wanted to kill me. I honestly didn't think she would be so stubborn and thick-headed. After saying all that, she once again lowered her head and began to sob, which hit the elder's heart like a sore spot. That wretched woman is a real ungrateful dog. You saved her and still want to kill you. Grinding his teeth, Keeper Yellow swear he's never seen such a shameless person before. Meanwhile on the other end, Yun Rua, she was elated inside after finding success to her story. I never wanted power. I only wanted the fox blood for the sake of this world. I know. I'm the only hope of everyone and must regain the ability to grow stronger. Otherwise there will be no one to solve the incoming calamity. In the end it is I who is the useless one for not being better. Talk about being deceitful. It's bad enough this witch stole Bai Yan's identity by using that crescent moon amulet she got as a gift. Now she's going with the story of wanting to be a savior. If anyone were to be a coward here, it would be this Yin Ruashi. She would run at the slightest hint of danger. That's the sort of person she was. The pretentious Yun Ruashi for, soft in his tone. Ruashi, you can rest assured, we will do everything in our powers to let you cultivate. Even if I have to tie them up. I will bring Bai Yin and Deed Song here to give birth to a daughter for you. That shook the lady's heart. Not because she's moved, but rather she's feeling bittersweet inside, due to the words she couldn't speak. If so, then the world will be saved. What a good girl she is. When finding out she can cultivate again, the first word she says isn't about being able to grow again, but of being able to save the world. The Lord must be blind to not see what a kind girl she is to not choose her. Go back and rest first, Ruashi. Your injury must be tended to. Me and the other keepers will handle the matter from this point forward. You don't need to worry. The elder's voice was loving and gentle to the ear. Though the outcome wasn't exactly as she had hoped, it's enough of a win for the witch in this case. Leaning against her maid for support. Keeper Yellow, you don't need to worry about me. Even if I suffered such grievance at the hand of my former friend, I still hope you can give Bai Yin some mercy when the time comes. Firming up in the eye at the mention of the matter. Since she killed Keeper Red, I know my request will be difficult for you, but still. I hope kindness will eventually move her to do as we demand. That lengthy speech only reaffirmed the elder's decision to do everything in his power to help. Thank goodness Rua she didn't throw her life needlessly away today. Otherwise the entire world will also perish in the future. Perhaps she too was tired from injuring herself, but the witch didn't say more. Turning for the palace again, she made sure to walk in staggered steps to look more pitiful and frail. However, if someone were to so much as glanced into her eyes, they would immediately pick up the venomous poison in the irises. Ruashi is truly a saint. She's so selfless and kind even when things have come this far. That Bai Yin is the polar opposite of her. Perhaps Keeper Ling is wrong from the very start with his plan. Not everyone is willing to sacrifice themselves for others. That said, Keeper Yellow's lips had curled into a snarl. People like Bai Yin deserves to die 1,000-fold. She's no different from those animals at this point. Once we're done with her, I will make sure she and her kind are destroyed once and for all. He always believed and still believes Chui God's greatest mistake was giving up on Yun Ruoxi in the past. The same goes for that old coot for not taking her as his disciple back then, and instead took Bai Yan. Right at this moment outside the main gates of the demon city, 3 elderly figures were floating in the air and gazing down at the city guards with sharp daggering eyes. The pretentious Yun Ruoxi 5. Where's the Demon King? Why didn't he come out to greet us when he's the one who invited us? Keeper Hyun coldly snaps at the demon guards below himself, that face a distrustful frown. Just like his peer, the grumpy Keeper Ling was also very gloomy in the face, while Keeper Zun, who was the nicest of the bunch, merely looked equally as dull, but with an unhappy look. Squeak! Eventually the gates were pushed open, and out came a long-bearded old elder. This individual was very well dressed with that pristinely white robe, but his smile was so fake and obvious that it made him look very strange. Members of the Celestial Palace, it's been a millennium since we last met. How are you all doing? It's you. Keeper Ling's expression promptly changed to viciousness. You're still alive? Haha. First Elder returns with a cold snarl of his own. If you didn't die yet, then how can I die first? Back then you pushed the demon realm to such a state, and still have the nerve to come knocking at our door? Going green in the face due to how livid he felt inside, Keeper Ling wanted to snap out in rage when his partner Keeper Hyun cuts him off first. First of all, this area belongs to the Celestial Realm. We are not knocking at your door. We left you alone because of the Celestial Lord's request and relationship with your queen. That's why you're able to survive this long. The meaning behind those words were simple. They allowed the demon realm to live because of Chui God's request, and not a threat to them. That way they could not only appear merciful and kind, but also to save their own face. Secondly, you demons are our enemy to begin with, so why can't we come knocking at your door? Moreover, you should go ask your so-called demon queen on why she's keeping such an unclear relationship with the Celestial Lord. We are only here to capture her, a traitor of the Celestial Palace. Unable to hold back his laughter, First Elder almost wanted to point out the idiocy of that statement. Our queen only has a childhood friendship with him. What claim do you have on the subject? And don't forget, he abandoned Her Highness first. Then it's you bastards who tried to kill her. How did the queen betray you people, how? Huffing a grunt, Keeper Ling cuts in again. She will always be a member of the Celestial Palace, whether it be in death or life. She was adopted by us as a child. That makes her ours by claim. What qualification does she have for turning her backs on the Celestial Palace? In other words, they are rightfully just in murdering Bai Yan if they deem fit. Even if they are the one who betrayed her to begin with. Turning ugly in the face, First Elder always knew these bastards are shameless. But he didn't know they would remain just as shameless, and even worse than a millennium ago. Keeper Hyun, Keeper Ling, let's stop wasting time on irrelevant words. The third senior Keeper Zun finally speaks up, his brow fixing up into a knot. Where is the Demon King now? We came at his invitation, and have some important matters to discuss with him. We will not enter that city of yours. It's too heavy with the scent of you demons, and it is making us disgusted. As soon as his words were finished there, a powerful and strong gush of wind surged out from within the gates. In an instant, the brilliant figure of Deetsong had arrived for all to see, his silvery hair fluttering against the wind, his purple robe daunting as ever, and his sharp overbearing eyes just as strong like in the past. Aiming at Di Ling Yan? 1. No matter where this man appears, he's destined to be the focus of attention in a party. He's simply too eye-catching to the point where Keeper Ling and the others couldn't ignore. That's Deetsong, the Demon King and ruler of the demon kind. You looking for me? The man asks with an almost playful note in his voice. Deetsong. Keeper Ling quickly calms himself and gathered the wits to confront the foe. There's viciousness brewing within those eyes, because he would never forget the time where they wanted to burn Bai Yan at the altar. It was this very man, the very same Deetsong, who broke into the Celestial Palace and saved the woman by decimated thousands in his wake. It was a bloodbath, a total bloodbath that would bring nightmares to his dreams even to this day. And back then they still had the support of Chewy God. But now, Demon King, you invited us here, and we have answered that request. Now explain your purpose. I don't believe it's just to reminiscent about the past by asking us to come. Keeper Zun, the kindest of the three, asks with clenched fists. He's equally as tense and rightfully so, showing a surprised face in return. Deedsong almost seems shocked there. I invited you to come here. How come I didn't know? The look on his expression didn't seem fake, so it instantly left the three seniors gawking their eyes out. Deedsong didn't invite us? Then who could it be? Pleased by the expressions he got from the three, Deedsong silently smirked in success and threw out the bomb that he's been saving. I never invited you, I only notified you. Inviting someone and being notified are two very different concepts. The former could be declined, while the latter couldn't. You, Keeper Ling's face was already very ugly to begin with, now he's practically steaming. This bastard dared to humiliate us. Wait, Keeper Zun raises an arm to stop his peer from attacking. Demon King, we have come because we have business to discuss with you. Chuckling menacingly, Deedsong didn't give a clear answer, only staring coldly at the old elder, who finally decides to get down to the main business. 1,000 years ago, someone once told us that the great calamity is coming. Whether it be the demon realm or celestial realm, all will suffer and face destruction. And the only way to save everyone is Ruashi. Unfortunately, the girl suffered a grave injury in order to save your wife back then. She's still not healed due to that incident. Now getting dark in the eyes at the mention of his wife, Deedsong's tone also got colder. And what does that have to do with me or her? She saved your wife. Shouldn't you hold some responsibility for her misdeed? Growling in his voice now, Keeper Ling could spew fire from his mouth if he had that capability. Only a stupid person like Bai Yen would marry you. Back then hordes of demonic beasts attacked her and tried to kill her. It was Ruashi who risked her own life in order to save that ungrateful lass. Now you are ignoring your duties and trying to shirk off the responsibility. How low can you animals get? Bullshit. First Elder could no longer hold back, and cried out that curse after hearing what they had to say. Aiming at Ling Yan? 2. When did we ever go after the queen? Quit making false accusations. As far that Yun Ruashi humph, that woman deserves what she got. If she hadn't abused a newborn foxling in the demon palace back then, and then cruelly skinned the child alive, she wouldn't have angered so many demons and made us chase after her. For First Elder, one of his greatest regrets was not murdering that evil scourge at the time, thus leading to all those tragic events over time. Seriously, in his mind he never could have imagined such a fragile-looking girl to be so ruthless and cruel inside. It's shocking for him back then. Imagine their future queen's close friend being so evil at heart. What could he have done? Ho ho! Keeper Ling snarls dismissively and retorts. You think I will believe you when Ruashi is such a kind and gentle lady? I'll tell you the truth now. Not long ago we have discovered a mean to heal her body. When saying this, he made sure to make eye contact with Deedsong, so that his meaning doesn't get misinterpreted. We only need the blood of a purebred fox from the royal line to completely cure her. But Ruashi couldn't bear the idea, and pleaded with us to give up the plan. Yet you still say she would skin a foxling alive? First Elder didn't even want to argue with these fools, so he merely snickered a laugh at that claim. In his view, it would just be a matter of time before they find out the hidden vile darkness inside that girl's heart. In the face of these shameless remarks, Deedsong continues to stand there with his hand behind his back. However, the mood around his face has grown tremendously dark. Deedsong, we are here this time to tell this matter. To save Ruashi is to use the purest of blood from your line. And it must be a young female one at that. After you generate a new daughter, you are to hand it over to us. Keeper Hyun's attitude there was that of absolute compliance, leaving no room for argument. Whether it be First Elder, or the rest of the demons standing there along the city wall, everyone was completely stunned by what they were hearing. Are these people from the Celestial Palace stupid? They would dare to say something like that in front of the king? And in such a determined fashion? The kindest of the three keepers, Zun, also showed a frown over his peer's statement. He's of the same idea, and was ready to make such a demand, but his phrases were set to be more excusable and accepting to the idea. What Hyun did there was a direct slap across the face and outright rude. But no matter, what's said has been said. There's no reason for any of them to worry about the consequences when they didn't care either way. Suddenly, a burst of hysterical laughter breaks the eerie silence. It's overbearing and oppressive, like some giant mountain was crushing down from above. Based on what can she use my daughter to save herself? Aiming at Di Lingyan? 3. Because Ruo she is the only one who can save us from the calamity. Keeper Ling's face sank. Demon King, is it not worth it to trade a daughter for the safety of your entire race? As long as you're willing to do as we wish, then I will personally promise the prolonged peace and safety of your family and relatives. Raising a brow over that remark, Deetsong's eyes were filled with dominance and disdain. If I can't even protect the demon realm, and need to use my own daughter to save it, then what good am I? I might as well forfeit my position right now. You're really going to forsake your own kind for the sake of a daughter? Keeper Ling cries that out with clenched teeth, not believing the level of selfishness the other side had. Turning to the pompous and rude old man, Deetsong suddenly replies with the weirdest answer he could say. I cherish my own life a lot. Cherish my own life? What does that mean? We only want his daughter, not his life. All three keepers were thinking this, and didn't understand where that idea came from. The children are my wife's lifeblood, and my wife is my lifeblood. I cherish my life, so why would I offer it up? That said, a surge of powerful killing intent blasts off from Deetsong's body, and creates a torrent of dark clouds above his head. If I have to choose between one or the other, I will only choose her. What about the demon realm? In my heart I only have my wife. Keeper Ling, who has never been good on his temper, exploded. He went from green to red, then red to white, then from white to blue. That's how outraged he was right now. Do you hear that? This is your king. The one you all swore loyalty to is abandoning your well-being. How can any of you fight for him? In light of the powerful and reasonable questioning from his viewpoint, the demons gathered here today only ignored the senior's words and didn't bother to give any eye contact. Fools. All are fools. Stomping his feet like a loose cannon, Keeper Ling didn't get it at all. He doesn't understand why these demons would follow someone so ruthless and cruel in his eye. But then he didn't have time to dwell on the matter, because something more urgent was requiring his attention. Right exactly then, the token hidden within his sleeve had activated and created a burning sensation to catch his attention. This item was a messaging tool given to him by Keeper Yellow. It's to inform the three of them something major has happened at the Celestial Palace and required their immediate return. It can't be something happened while we were gone. Seeing their brethren not speaking anymore from out of the blue, Keeper Zun and Keeper Hyun both showed a frown. Then looking over to the old man's hand that was holding the token, they both realizes it couldn't be good. Is something wrong? Keeper Zun asks with a tinge of worry. Something happened back at the Celestial Palace. We must go back now. The faces of the two both changed over Keeper Ling's word. Something happened to the Celestial Palace? There's so many keepers there, what can happen? Deetsong didn't take his eye off these three, so he was easily able to pick up the sudden change in their mood. Therefore he could already guess his wife had succeeded, and the plan was taking place as they speak. You think you can just come and go as you please? With a whisk of his sleeve, his figure instantly reappears before the three seniors back to block off their path. Before he didn't attack after they dared to go after his daughter, mainly because he was stalling for time. But now that the plan was in action, he had no reason to hold back anymore, and allowed his fury to take control. Demon King, you really want to make an enemy of us? Aiming at Di Lingyan? 4. Due to how urgent he was in getting back to help, Keeper Ling's attitude had grown frantic and threatening in hopes of making Deetsong move aside. Me and the Celestial Realm are enemies to begin with. 1,000 years ago I was now the same. Yet you come and want peace. Ha ha ha. In other words, whatever these idiotic bunch was trying to do was pointless to begin with. Deetsong never intended to make peace with these bastards. Deetsong, if your strength was the same as a millennium ago, then us three might have perhaps been wary of you. But now you're no longer a threat to us. Want to make us stay? Dream on. Smirking with a derisive note in his face, Deetsong clearly thought otherwise. Even if I can't kill you three today, I will still make you leave behind a limb or two. Want to leave? Sure, leave behind a leg, or an arm first, then perhaps you can leave. Keeper Hyun, Keeper Ling, stop wasting words with him. If he won't let us leave, then just kill him. Then we'll leave. Keeper Zun states this with dark, menacing eyes, something which this elder normally doesn't show in his usual mood. Perhaps they are just that confident, or they're just that self-conceited. But the three here still hasn't connected the dots yet. In their view, only Deetsong has the power to threaten them. But even then, it's impossible to overcome so many keepers at once. That leaves only one other person capable, and that was the prophet from way back informing them of the calamity. But ever since then the person has disappeared from this world, never to be seen again, meaning that speculation was also out of the question. Meanwhile, inside the demon city, a sneaky little figure was sniveling around in the shadows and had overheard everything. Without hesitation, this individual had snuck away again by taking advantage of the fighting between Deetsong and the three keepers. Minutes later, back inside the palace, high above an old peach tree, Di Ling Yen had just finished picking one of the fruits with her small little hands when she poked her head out from the leaves. Here, catch, second brother. Unfortunately, right as she's about to throw the object down within her tiny hands, that little leg slipped and sent her tumbling downwards for the ground. This was a very dangerous situation, and it sent the maids nearby flying in horror. They wanted to catch the princess, but it was none other than the round. The maids present jumped at this dangerous situation, both frightened and shocked by the critical moment. But it was another little body that made it in the nick of time. Plump! Landing right atop of the big roundish body from the top down, the baby girl was all fine and dandy from the impact. However, the poor baby boy on the bottom wasn't so fortunate. Di Jin Tion almost cried with those tears trickling in the corner of his eye. Second brother, are you all right? Ling Yen asks after climbing down and patting the dust off her pretty dress, climbing back up with reddish color along his eyes. I'm not hurt, I'm not hurt. It's good that you are all right. Big brother said that I'm a small adult already. I can't keep crying and need to protect my little sister. Princess. Just then, a series of hurried footsteps came from the side and catches the kid's attention. Madam, are you calling me? Ling Yen asks with big innocent eyes. Aiming at Di Ling Yen? 5. Ma. Madam? Mu Shui instantly stopped on the spot. She could already see the mocking glances coming her way from the other maids, so it was very awkward. Little princess, why are you calling me madam? Big brother told me the good-looking ones are the big sisters, and the not-so-good-looking ones are the madams. Big brother is so amazing, it must be right if he says that. Mu Shui's face turned increasingly green, due mainly from anger and embarrassment at being called ugly. However, she's not moronic enough to lash out at the princess in her current state here in the palace. Little princess, you got your dress all dirty. Why don't I help you wash up and get clean? Forcing a smile, the girl suggests shamelessly. But before the idea could be taken up, Muing, the older sister, had already stepped in, knowing what the younger girl intended. Mu Shui, I will take care of the princess. You don't need to get involved. That said, the proud and strong-willed lady then turns back to the baby princess. How about it, princess? Do you want me to help you wash up? Smiling with big innocent eyes. Okay, I'll trouble Sister Muing then. Mother said good children should be polite. Only then will they be liked. Now Mu Shui could no longer hold back the disgusted and venomous light in those eyes of hers. For one thing, it's widely recognized among her leopard tribe that she's the better-looking one. Imagine being called a madam and the other being called a sister. That's an obvious jab at her ego and pride. It can't be. Is the princess as blind as the king? Little princess, holding her breath in order to suppress the anger. How come you call Mu Ying a sister while calling me madam? Biting her thumb like she's being lectured, Di Lingyan answers honestly with a look of worry. But Mu Ying is better looking than you. Although they are not anywhere close to being as good as mother, but at least Mu Ying's scent doesn't put me off. Yes, the main reason the baby girl doesn't like Mu Shui was because of the scent she gave off. It made Di Lingyan uncomfortable. Heck, if it wasn't for her own worry of bothering Di Tsang, the peachy girl might have already driven the conceited leopard girl away by now. Impudent! The nearby guard snaps out with annoyance. How dare you? If the princess wants to call you a madam, then you are a madam. How dare you question her highness? As resentful as she was, Mu Shui kept silent and merely clenched her fist in frustration. This demon soldier is also a servant. How dare he scold me? I just want to help the princess wash up. There's no other meaning. It's Mu Ying who is always trying to compete with me. She attempts to explain. This woman must also be going after the king. Otherwise, why else is she always seeking the princess's grace? She's just like me wanting to be a consort. Come princess, I'll take you to go wash up now. Mu Ying wants to pick up the baby girl, but was taken aback when Di Lingyan ducked to one side. Mother said, only good children will be liked. I can walk, so I will do so on my own. I don't want mother to be angry at me for constantly riding on others. After this speech, the little peachy girl didn't say more and toddled forward. Though her steps are still wobbly from a lack of practice, she nevertheless managed to not fall this time. Meanwhile in the back, Mu Shui glared out in disgust and contempt at this scene. In her view, demons should be able to run and walk very early on. Having 2 years of life and still being unable to walk was a humiliation in her eye. Aiming at Di Lingyan? 6. So, it can be seen that the so-called queen is a real useless shitbag. Only a shitbag can produce such stupid children. Wait for me Lingyan, wait for me. It's then Jin Tian also climbs up from the ground and attempts to catch up to his sister. However, it's at this moment a puff of smoke blew out of his body, and he reverts back to his silvery fox form, rubbing his tummy as he looked towards the guard nearby. I'm hungry. Prince, the king said you are not allowed to eat too much. I'm hungry and I can't maintain my human form without food. Can you help me get something to eat? Letting the tears slowly brewing up from the corner of his eye, Jin Tian begs with pitiful appearance. As much as these demon guards would like to answer the request, they are more afraid of Di Tsang's wrath for disobeying the order. I want to eat fruit. I also want to eat meat. Breaking out into a cry. You bad people won't let me eat. Wait until mother comes back. I'm going to tell mother you bullied me. Sure enough, this causes the poor guards to break out into sweat. When did we bully him? This prince really knows how to tattle. Mu Shui on the other hand saw this as an opportunity and grew happy. Prince, I know how to make a few good dishes. Why don't I take you to have dinner? I don't want to. Puckering his lips in dissatisfaction, the little glutton showed no mercy in his words. Going ugly in the face again, Mu Shui almost couldn't believe this. He would rather be hungry than to eat my food? Are these two siblings some sort of monster or something? They're always throwing jabs at me. Lingyan said she doesn't like you. Although you are not the same gender as mother. But you're not a good person, so your food can't be good either. You will try to poison me. This time not even Mu Shui's restraint could hold back her humiliated emotions. This little shit dared to insult me again and call me a man. Just you wait. I will skin you alive once I get the chance. For the guards stationed here to watch over the prince, not even their well-trained self could hold back the laughter anymore. Over time they've also disliked Mu Shui and the attitude she portrayed before them. But never did they expect to get payback on the leopard girl in this manner. Heck, the only reason they didn't go report Mu Shui's behavior was due to all the fuss lately. Otherwise the matter would have been dealt with long ago by now. Your Highness is jesting, how can I poison you? Scratching the back of his head. But Lingyan is usually smarter than me, so she can't be wrong. She said you want to poison me, and that dying by poison is very painful on the tummy. I'm afraid of pain. Dare to say, the real reason behind him not wanting to eat Mu Shui's food was because he's afraid of getting a tummy ache. First it was the princess insulting her. Then it's this brat making fun of her. No sensible person would want to take this. In the end, Mu Shui could only march for the exit with tears almost seeping out of her eyes, due to the humiliation. I'm hungry. Lying there pathetically after shooing away the fly, Jin Tian once again cries out for food like a hopeless baby. Aiming at Ling Yan? 7. I'm going to tell my mother that you guys are abusing me and won't let me eat enough. Looking at this small silver fox rolling around on the ground, and making that face, these men just didn't know what else to do. Prince, why don't you go to the kitchen and steal some food for yourself? We will pretend we didn't see you. Then when the king seeks to punish us, it will only be for watching over you poorly, and not indulging you in the crime. A visible burst of light explodes out of Jin Tian's greedy eyes then. Almost jumping up from the ground, he toddles toward the kitchen with immense vigor. This utterly and literally stupefied the guards in the background. They knew the little prince was a glutton, but not this gluttonous. Outside the palace, Mu Shui was still very much disgruntled as she kicked the rocks along the courtyard. Mu Shui, what's wrong? Why are you acting so unhappy and kicking the rocks here? Yu Yao asks after coming out of the room. Mother, tearing up instantly as she throws herself into her mother's arm. It's mooing that bitch again. She claims to not want the king, and that she didn't fall for him. But she's been doing everything in her ability to prevent me from getting close to the two kids. That woman must be like me. She wants the king for herself. Otherwise, why else would she keep chasing me away? Sho, you need to keep your voice down. Hurrying to pacify her youngest daughter, Yu Yao quickly scans the area in case anyone was eavesdropping. Don't let your father hear these things. He has always been more lenient on your older sister. If he knows what she intends to do, your father might even help her with the idea. Locking hard onto her own mother's gaze, Mu Shui couldn't refute that idea. I know, mother. I know father prefers mooing over me. It's because her talent is better than mine. But guess what, mother? I overheard something while I was at the city's gate earlier. Those people from the Celestial Palace are after the little princess. They want her blood to save some woman on their side. What? Surprised by the news, Yu Yao had to take a moment to collect herself. Those people are after the little princess? So, a scheming light flickers within the lass's eye. What if I kidnap the little princess and then frame it onto Muing? How about it? Yu Yao didn't answer her, only shaking her head after contemplating the issue. Mu Shui, you need to know who your real enemy is. I know you hate that Muing and want to marry the king. But what your plan will do is incriminate our entire tribe. Furthermore, her facials are nowhere as good as yours. She can't seduce the king with her face. Now that leaves only the demon queen. She's your real enemy. Reflecting over the points as well, Mu Shui knew her mother was right on the topic. That's right, I look way better than her. Why should I fret? I only need to meet the king, and then get him under my thumb. Then what am I supposed to do? If you're going to the effort of framing Mu Ying, then you might as well frame the queen instead. We all know the king loves his children dearly. Imagine the queen being at fault for the child's death. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.